Is he in the Amish community?
You know what? I don't know. It didn't say.
I couldn't tell. It was an interesting
common name.
name.
It's a common name in the Amish community. So, yeah, it's an incredibly weird story.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just trying to look up if he was or not, but I'm not quite sure.
It doesn't appear to be, but...
It doesn't appear that he is, no. Okay. Mayor Jay Gillian has announced immediate action amid an investigation into allegations of sexual harassment involving the Ocean City Beach Patrol. Effective immediately, aide to the mayor, Michael Algretto, will oversee operations of the Ocean City Beach Patrol. The allegations surfaced last week after an Instagram account with the username OCBP Predators was created. The account includes dozens of anonymous allegations against the unnamed members of the Ocean City Beach Patrol. The creator of the Instagram account says that this all started after a female lifeguard asked for help. A lot of these people are telling me that they're coming forward with a story for the first time, or it's a story from 5, 10, 15 years ago, the anonymous person said. Mark Jameson is the chief of the Ocean City Beach Patrol and at the time remains in his position. While the investigation is still underway, one of Allegretto's first roles will be to find an independent contractor to oversee the day-to-day operations. His charge will be to retain an experienced labor attorney with a strong background in employment investigations to ensure the city's policies and procedures are sufficient, correctly implemented, and properly communicated, and to engage an independent contractor to oversee the day-to-day operations of the patrol while the investigation is conducted, Gillian said.
Are most of these sexual violations?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what, I mean, they're on an Instagram account.
All right.
You know, nothing.
The allegations.
Nothing official yet, but they're allegations. Going forward, the city will take a number of steps to ensure that all city team members work in a safe environment, Gillian added. The Cape May County Prosecutor's Office is continuing to investigate the allegations. Any witnesses or victims are urged to come forward by contacting the prosecutor's office, or you can report it anonymously through the Cape May County Sheriff's tip line at cmcsheriff.net. You click on anonymous tips, or you can call the Cape May County Crime Stoppers line. It's a debate that's raged for years. Should Radnor High School change its nickname? A Radnor High School alum posted a video on YouTube to illustrate the passion and spirit behind the Radnor Raider nickname. It comes as students and community members get ready to meet in focus groups about a new name. A clip from the video says, Raider Nation is inclusive, accepting of all differences, respectful, determined, and proud. Why would we want to get rid of the name that has united us for so many generations? The video is reigniting controversy. In September 2020, the school board voted to remove the Raider name and all Native American imagery. The school district received almost 100 new name suggestions. The committee narrowed it down to 8 names. Many people voted against all 8 names because they didn't carry any meaning behind them. Many say the Raider has so much history and meaning to all of the students, alumni, and parents.
Okay, so their Raider is a Native American, whereas like the Las Vegas Raiders that's a pirate.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It's got Native American imagery on it. And I'm surprised that this is still a debate, Kathy, because a year ago they took it. They made the vote. They've taken a lot of the imagery down. I live right near Radnor High School, and you can't even see any of the images of the Raider anymore. So I thought
that's why they're saying it was this alumni who posted this YouTube video that's kind of reigniting all of it, because they're going into this meeting because they still don't have a name. They voted against all the 8 names that they came up with.
I believe Washington still doesn't have a nickname for next year for their football club either.
No.
So it's just one of these things where sometimes it's just in limbo for a couple of years.
The Pirate Indians. That's the name they're coming. Pirate Indians. But they're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
All right, let's do sports this morning.
Ball sacks are yummy.
The Sixers lost to the Phoenix Suns last night in South Philly, but almost tied the game on a last-second miracle shot.
It was excruciating.
Joel Embiid grabbed a 2-handed rebound, turned and tossed an 85-foot right-handed strike that banked off of the glass and rattled off the front and the back of the rim, but didn't go in. The Suns escaped with a 116-113 win. Embiid had 38 points and 17 rebounds and one incredibly close shot that could have been one of the greatest shots in NBA history had it gone in.
I mean, he threw it
it like a baseball. I mean, that guy is a physical specimen. It's just amazing.
The Sixers are back at it tonight as they open up a back-to-back mini-series in Milwaukee against the Bucks. Tip-off is scheduled for 7 o'clock. The Phillies beat the San Francisco Giants 6-5 yesterday afternoon at the ballpark. Bryce Harper tied the game with one swing and later scored the winning run with one hand brushing the plate. Andrew Knapp hit the winning single in the 9th inning after Harper hit a tying solo home run in the 7th. Knapp hit a one-out single to left, and Harper beat Alex Dickerson's throw, scoring, standing up, and touching the plate with his fingertips to lead the team to the win. They're off today. They're off today before opening up a road trip with a weekend series against the Rockies in Colorado tomorrow night. And the Flyers, who have lost 4 of their last 5, return to the ice tonight with a game in New York against the Rangers. The puck is set to drop in Madison Square Garden at 7 o'clock. And that's what I have for you this morning.
All right, thanks, Kat. Hi, how's everybody? We're doing good today. It's a Thursday, the majority of the work week. I think I say that every single Thursday morning, but
you've never been wrong.
It's just the first thing that pops in my mind is we're almost there.
It's going to be Friday in 5 hours.
It will. Yes,
According
you're right.
to Casey,
when
right?
we're done,
I will tell you this.
officially Friday.
Thursday evening, going into Friday, I start to go,
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Thursday evening's good.
Start to loosen up a little bit.
I think you and I are on the same page that Friday evening might be my favorite time of the weekend.
Yeah, I think it might be.
Yeah.
I agree.
I have a wedding tonight.
What?
What?
You're getting married?
I thought you were married.
No, a new one.
Thursday night?
A Thursday night wedding. So it's my cousin. She originally was scheduled a weekend in 2020. She had to reschedule it 2 or 3 times.
Jeez.
And when she went to the place to reschedule this final time, they said to her, we have no weekends available. You can get married in 2022. And she said, no way. I'm not waiting that long. They said, let's do a Thursday night wedding. But the only thing is that it has to be outside. So there are, it's tented and heated.
The day.
Jesus.
But it was
one day.
Right? It was beautiful. On Tuesday, I was like, oh no, and so it's going to be cold, but we've got heaters. So, but yes, but that's so going back to it being, it's like almost the weekend. I got a wedding going into Friday.
How many people are attending? Do you know?
I forget what it is. It's not the amount that she originally had. It was definitely a decreased amount, but she was able to have a little bit. She was able to have more people because she's having it outside.
Okay.
All right. Well, bundle up. I'm looking at my weather forecast, and it looks like the wind's not going to really start picking up to like this afternoon, like 2 or 3 o'clock.
Oh, just in time for the wedding.
Sorry about that.
So congratulations, Leslie and Adam.
Yes, please. Our strongest congrats to you. All right, we have a bunch of things that are taking place this morning. We have the Money Clip contest. Obviously, it's going to be 8 and 10 a.m. Your chance to win $500. Yes. We also have actor Dean Norris. You remember him from Breaking Bad. He was Hank. And he's been in loads of movies and TV shows. And he's got a program called The United States of Al. It's on tonight on CBS, so we'll talk to Dean later on. And then we have director Brad Furman, local fella, and he directed City of Lies. It's the latest Johnny Depp film, Johnny Depp and Forrest Whitaker, which is available to rent on Prime Video and Fandango now. And he grew up listening to the Preston and Steve show, apparently. Which is pretty cool.
I think without saying it, we were talking about this earlier, everything throughout this movie in some ways related to us. So even if it's not overt.
You see it in Depp's performance.
Right.
Subtle.
And also, and I think you guys have seen it already, but I'm going to reveal the audience the true nature of the origin of Talk Like Bill Weston.
Yes.
So probably about an hour we'll get from that after the entertainment report. But I will reveal it's been cleared up. Katie found out what the story was. And we will pass that along to you, and maybe Bill will be happy at knowing how it came about. So we'll take a break. We'll come back, and when we return, a stupid question with some free stuff to give to you, and I have a big stack of entertainment stories to share. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve on 93.3
cocaine.
Yep.
That's a lot of cocaine. All right, 215-263 WMMR. Let's see if you know the answer to that. All right, and what year was actor Tim Allen arrested for possession of 1.4 pounds of cocaine? We'll go through some birthdays while we're waiting for that answer. Thursday, April 22nd. We'll begin with a legendary guitarist and singer, Mr. Peter Frampton.
Yes.
Turns 71 years old today.
One of the absolute best.
Yeah, and one of the greatest live albums ever. His career was on a downfall, and they were almost counting him out until Frampton Comes Alive hit. And part of it was the photo of him on the cover.
It was so cool.
Girls loved it.
Women loved him, but he was.
And he's just a great talent, and it's a great album.
It's basically, like as you said, Preston, at that point in his career, it's basically a greatest hits almost.
Yeah.
Or greatest never were hits.
Yeah.
So the album takes off and catapults him in the stratosphere.
The live version, those songs were already out. They just didn't really do much. But the live versions of them with the audience reaction,
the
and all
whole
this
thing,
stuff, it's what it relaunched his career.
I learned how to drive stick to this record.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm driving around with my mom. My mom taught me how to drive, and it was frustrating at times, but she put this music on deliberately so that I would relax a little bit. And so
that's cool.
I'll always associate Frampton with learning how to drive stick.
I will always associate this with my first mushroom trip.
Really?
I listened to this song over and over. I'm telling you, Kathy, I might have listened to it 30 times in a row. I sat in what we called the tomato couch, and I sat there as we had a formal. My brother messed it up, and he forgot to book a formal hall to have the fraternity formal in. So we ended up having it in our house, and I sat there. I didn't even know I was going to trip that day. Dude just asked me. He was like, "Hey, can I borrow $25?" I gave him $25, and he came back like 15 minutes later. He's like, "Here you go," and he handed me a bag of mushrooms, and I was like, "I guess this is what I'm doing."
All right.
Good memories.
Yeah. Dude, it was great, man.
I can see Casey just sitting there going to everybody, wait, listen. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, my God.
It's like a seahorse pod.
Yeah, totally.
Seahorse
forever.
Seahorses forever.
Peter is 71 years old today. Jack Nicholson, the great Jack Nicholson.
Oh, my God.
Celebrates a birthday with Peter Frampton.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah, well, happy birthday to you, Jack. He is 84 years old.
He's very thankful.
And he's done, right? He hung it up.
He said
I wouldn't.
I think at some point he might do something if he's moved enough, but he really. He basically and Jack doesn't seem to me flighty in his decisions.
Right.
So I don't think he has any desire left.
I bet you maybe some little small role.
Maybe like a Fuller House guest appearance.
Maybe so.
Can I borrow a cup of sugar?
He hasn't done anything since How Do You Know, which was that movie that was partially shot here with Owen Wilson. And we tried to get him on the show. I remember I asked Danny DeVito to get him on the show, and Danny said no.
You know what he'd be great on?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Not only Danny said no, Danny, I remember his exact quote to Nick. He said, Jack and I agreed to not do stuff like that before you were born.
So that was the best
ass.
That was the best no I ever got.
Never. I'd like to see, you know what? It'd be a great thing if DeVito could convince Nicholson to make an appearance on It's Always Sunny.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Could you imagine that?
Hardly anybody cooler than him, you know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
Than Jack.
Absolutely.
He's 84. Ryan Stiles, you remember from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes.
Drew Carey Show. He is 62 today. Cheryl Lee, who played Laura Palmer in Twin Peaks, she is 54.
She was also in that John Carpenter movie about the vampires. I forget the name of it with not Stephen Baldwin, the Daniel Baldwin.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't tell you the title, but I know what you're talking about. A guy we've had on a few times, John Waters, a director.
Yes, love him.
Is 75 today, and has done some cult classics like Hairspray and Pink Flamingos, Serial Mom, Cry Baby, to name a few.
Serial Mom is so effing good.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Negan. Steve does the best Negan impersonation, but you have to see it. It's not just the voice. It's the body movements. Because come on, man.
Yeah, Negan for me was fantastic for the series, and also for me the downfall of the series. In that, as we said before, he's so good. He's such a great actor. But the stuff he did.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't kill this guy,
I know.
Yeah.
I lose all respect for you.
Yep.
You know, and
but I'm sorry, but what it had to have come down to, because they're writing this as the seasons go along, is the audience loves him too much to kill him.
Right.
They love to hate him so much that we can't kill this guy off. We got to get more out of him. You know what I mean?
Gotta be kidding me.
For real. And the times they tried to justify his stance and what he did, I'm sorry, it didn't work for me.
It got very thin quickly.
Well, they also gave him a backstory in either the last episode or next to last episode. So they went back to him like before the apocalypse happened, as it was happening, and they gave him a backstory.
He ran a fun zone, right?
He did not run a fun zone.
How you kids like it?
I think it was a bounce you, Steve, the trampoline place.
Oh, my God. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish with backstory, but they didn't make him more likable.
Well, okay. That's usually what you attempt to do is try to give context for why someone is the way they are.
But
they're basically saying, guess what? You're right. He's a dick.
Right. And so he does have these moments where you're like, okay, maybe he's not so bad.
Right.
And then he follows it up by going,
He is stupendous as the comedian.
Oh, my God.
Zack Snyder's Watchmen.
So good.
He's 55. Steve, one of your faves, Amber Heard. Has a birthday today.
I'm conflicted.
She's 35. I don't know what to think about her whole real life situation. And it's a he said, she said thing. So I don't know.
Visually, she's a classic Hollywood beauty, but I just don't know what's going on there. I know that she poops in bed.
She was really good in The Stand, the most recent version.
You liked her?
Yeah, I liked her character. I didn't love the whole thing, but I did like her in it. She's 35. And then last birthday, great vocalist and keyboardist, Paul Carrick.
Yes.
Who's been in bands like Ace and Squeeze and Mike and the Mechanics.
The Gibbons Kids?
He sings, no, he wasn't in the Gibbons Kids. He sings Tempted. He's the lead vocalist on Tempted.
So does he do Pulling Muscles as well?
No.
No.
Nope, that's Glenn Tilbrook, yeah. But he does...
Mike and the Mechanics?
Yeah, Mike and the Mechanics, the Living Years.
Yes.
He sings that. He had a solo song called Don't Shed a Tear, which I thought was really good. And in Ace... what was the song that Ace had?
The place for the helpful hardware man?
Ace is a place.
That's it. Yes, yep, exactly. No, Ace has a song. Nick, if you could look up the band Ace, because you're going to know the song. It's a great song, but it was a one-hit wonder, and I'm not going anywhere until we find out what it was.
Yes, I have to say I don't remember this.
You will. You absolutely will. Hang on a second here.
How long?
How long?
Yes. Has this been going on?
Thank you.
Marissa.
Thank you. That's it. Yeah. Paul Carrick, great vocalist, is 71 years old. All right. Now we can move on.
Yes.
And see if we can get an answer to this question. What year was actor Tim Allen arrested for possession of 1.4 pounds of cocaine? I will go to Jason to see if he knows the answer. Hey, Jason, how you doing?
Hey, sorry to bother you guys at work.
Hey, we're okay with it as long as you have the right answer. What year are we talking about?
I'm going for 1978.
And you are correct. Hang on, Jason. We're going to give you a $50 Metro Diner gift card. You can share breakfast, lunch, and dinner with family and friends at your local Metro Diner or order online for curbside pickup or contactless delivery. Enjoy classics like fried chicken and waffles, steak and scramble bowl, and more. You can visit metrodiner.com to view their menu. Yeah, he was sentenced to 3 to 7 years in jail. He was let out on parole after 2 years and 4 months.
His mugshot has a big, bushy sort of porn stash.
Yeah. It's very
almost Magnum
PI. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. All right, so some entertainment stories. We're going to start with this. Our good friend John Travolta opened up to Esquire Spain about the loss of his wife, Kelly Preston. The 1-year anniversary of her death is approaching. He says the most important thing that you can do to help another when they are in mourning is to allow them to live it and not complicate it with yours.
That's true.
Yeah, he said that although people tried to comfort him after Preston's death, he said it didn't help. He said, I felt so saturated with everyone's sadness that I didn't know what to do, which is interesting hearing that because when there are people in my life that I know that are going through something horrible like that, a bereavement, and I don't know quite what to say. And I know that there are certain things that we do say, and I don't know if they help or not. So I kind of pull back and I try to...
Yeah.
I try
give them the space. Yeah. That's it. You support, but you don't... Some people try to fix it.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Well,
and you just knowing that you'd be there and that you're and as most people do, and there's nothing you can say that's going to eradicate. A lot of people say, I'm going to attempt to remove this pain. The person has to go through it. They just have to experience, and that's it.
Yeah. I get a little bit mad at social media for ruining the terms thoughts and prayers because, it does mean something especially when you're talking to somebody that you know. But now it has become such a punchline that thoughts and prayers it almost doesn't mean anything anymore. But like I would often say that my thoughts and my prayers are with you. But like what I have found now is that like I hope you find comfort with the ones you love.
Let's switch it out. Thoughts and prayers with booze and food.
Booze and food, or foos and bood.
Or foos and bood.
Well, listen, man. People tend to send you a lot of food after
true.
somebody passes away.
My wife is one of them. Like when somebody dies, she's like, we have to put a package together.
Yes,
we got to send them food, and it's an appreciated gesture, I think.
It is, and you know what? So my brother and his wife just lost. So my sister-in-law's mother passed away, and they got tons of food. And what my brother said was so helpful was people waited like 2-3 weeks and then sent food. He goes, because you get this abundance of food so much, it all goes to waste. Like he was sending stuff home with people that
stuff is stale.
But no, but he said 3 weeks later, you're still depressed. You're still sad about it. And when the food comes in and you don't have to cook, it's so helpful. So maybe wait.
Right. Bizarrely, and to that point, when my mother passed away and I was 21, it was decades ago, I remember, as sad and bad as that was, we never ate better in our life. I mean, my neighbors were all bringing stuff by.
I had the best chicken salad. My friend Danielle and Brett, they made it. I was like, this is so good that like when the dust settles, I have to ask her how she did it.
Yeah. Who else in the neighborhood is sick?
As it turns out, she shredded with her bare hands, with her fingers. Oh. Yeah, you boil it and then you shred it and you stick it in the stew.
Okay. John said,
we all grieve in our own ways.
Yes, we do. Some of us watch The Lord of the Rings. Now he says his main priority is finding joy in life with his two kids, Ella and Ben, and he told the outlet that he is particularly happy when listening to music or dancing. She died July of 2020, 2 years after she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She was 57 years old. Alex Rodriguez celebrated his daughter Ella's 13th birthday with a video featuring his ex-fiancée, Jennifer Lopez. The nearly 2-minute video tribute showed the former MLB star with his daughter throughout the years, and he also included a shot of J-Lo hugging Ella and a Polaroid of the singer sitting on her knees next to A-Rod's daughter. He captioned the clip, 13. Wow, that number has meant a lot to me over the years, but today it's even more special than ever. I just can't believe my Ella Bella turns 13 today. My baby girl
Ella?
Is officially a teenager. Ella, every day you amaze me more than I could have ever imagined. You're smart, mature, talented, caring, and funny. I'm so proud of the young woman you are becoming and so lucky and grateful to be your dad.
So this is A-Rod's daughter, and Jennifer Lopez has, needless to say, has built up quite a connection to this kid.
Yes.
So that's got to suck when they split. And
right? Yeah, and it's part of the loss when you're a blended family. I mean, they weren't technically a family, but yeah, his daughters Ella and Natasha come from his ex-wife Cynthis Skirtis. Really? Cynthis Skirtis.
Serbius Maximus?
There you go. yeah, exactly. So.
The famous chariot driver.
Hayden Panettiere's ex, Brian Hickerson, has been sentenced to 45 days in county jail after pleading no contest to 2 felony counts of injuring a spouse or girlfriend.
Oh, so for domestic abuse, huh?
Yeah,
wow.
According to Page 6, Tuesday's sentencing came after multiple domestic violence allegations involving the former Nashville star. Additionally, Hickerson will serve 4 years of probation. He's required to attend 52 domestic violence classes and must pay a $500 fine. He will also be hit with a 5-year restraining order that prohibits him from coming in contact with Panettiere.
So she was married to Klitschko, right?
Yeah.
And then separates from him, gets involved with this guy. She had pronounced postpartum depression. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
For the better part of a year?
Yeah.
Life has not been easy for her.
No. So the sentencing stems from Hickerson's July 2020 arrest, in which he initially pleaded not guilty to assaulting Hayden. So he's facing the music now. Irina Shayk posted the first photo of her daughter with Bradley Cooper on Instagram on Wednesday.
Our dear friend Bradley Cooper?
Yeah, the picture taken by Cooper himself shows 4-year-old Leah Desane Sheikh Cooper wearing a red sweater and patterned leggings while tugging on her mom's hand, and his face is not shown in the frame. Her face is not shown in the frame.
Somebody's face is not shown in the frame.
Oh.
She had captioned the picture, my dream for, and then it's got a Twitter, somebody's Instagram handle, by Daddy. Okay,
Burberry.
Whatever. Is it? Yeah, one of them is Burberry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
One is Ricardo Tisci.
Montalban.
Tisci. Ricardo Montalban. Yes.
Even though I've passed away, I would love nothing more to be with you on this Sunday afternoon as we rub our hands along fine Corinthian.
I knew that was going to. Rich Corinthian leather. The couple broke up in 2019 after a 4-year relationship.
Tattoo, the toilet is broken again. I need you to crawl into it.
But the model recently referred to her ex as the most amazing dad in an interview with Elle.
So they're on good terms.
Yeah.
He's moved on to somebody else, though, has he not?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, of course
you
he
not?
has. Yes. All right, so if you had to rank our best friends, top 3 here, and I'm assuming
Between
that
real or fictional?
these are all real stuff.
Okay, yeah.
Bradley Cooper, John Travolta, Mark Wahlberg.
Bradley Cooper, Mark Wahlberg.
As in, like, how much they're best friends with us or we're best friends with them?
How much we perceive our friendship, because all of this is in our minds. However, we really had a great session with John Travolta.
We did, but I think
it was only one session.
I think Mark Wahlberg probably remembers us.
I'll tell you how I can say that, and I believe that you're right, Kathy. You blew a call into him when he was on a set to help us when the Eagles were going through the Super Bowl
because
parade.
he's got, Philadelphia is like adopted city.
Right, and he came on and talked about it and wished everything well and was cool. So
Yeah.
I think he's, okay, Mark Wahlberg.
He's 1, and then who's 2 and 3?
Bradley would be 2, I think.
Oh, what? Oh, no way. John Travolta.
Wow. Okay.
Well,
Bradley's been by here a couple times.
Bradley was by twice and had a really good experience.
Also, Casey
that was
texted
41
him.
years ago.
Yeah, and Casey texted him, and we got crickets.
Yeah, well, now I don't even do that anymore. Marissa
idea.
does. We're probably texting some rando in L.A. right now. It's like, dude, why do these people keep asking me to be on their show?
I think Bradley Cooper remembers being here. I think John Travolta would remember us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that make a difference?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, we have some heavy hitters otherwise, though. We have Michael Giacchino. We have Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
He himself. Rob McElhenney.
Rob McElhenney.
John, yeah.
Robert Irvine.
Actually, that whole Sunny crew. We're pretty tight with all those guys. So.
Jervis, I mean, he totally remembers us.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude.
Justin Guarini's.
Justin Guarini.
Got to be way up there.
All right.
All right, listen.
We're legit.
We could go on.
Stop it.
I'm going to go on to this story, though, because I like it. Scott Disick has had a hard time seeing his ex, Kourtney Kardashian, move on with boyfriend Travis Barker. A source tells people that while Disick has struggled and has been jealous of Kourtney's past relationships, he recognized that this is something more serious.
This is more serious.
The insider tells the outlet with Travis, he struggles even more. Before Travis, Kourtney's relationships were never serious.
This hurts more because it's from the heart.
It was more like flings. With Travis, this is different.
Oh, my God.
What?
There's a video that just came up in the studio. I thought she was sucking on something.
Yeah.
And
It's his thumb.
It's a thumb.
Yeah, and I guess it's his thumb.
Yeah, and it's meant to look like what you thought it was.
Travis Barker's
yes,
thumb.
that's what we assume. Yeah.
Yeah, it did look like she's performing fellatio for sure.
Yeah.
Well, listen, what worked for sis could work for you.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, my God.
Let's see.
Yeah, do it. It's worth it. It's so worth it.
Ronda Rousey is pregnant.
Yay!
With her and husband Travis Brown's first child. The former UFC star and WWE wrestler made the announcement on YouTube on Wednesday where she revealed that she is in her second trimester. She said, I've been pregnant since January, so 4 months. Woo, baby bump, and I can't hide it anymore. So it's time to show it off. And just want to share with you guys a little bit of the journey we've been on.
Did they have intercourse?
I believe they had intercourse,
okay.
And there's definitely much more to the story than we'll be telling. Later.
4 months is the usual point at which you get past the first trimester.
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. You want to get past first trimester.
Right.
Yeah. So
Well, good for them, man. I like her a lot.
Due date is September 22nd.
Well, I'll
by
be
the
there.
way. Yep. Chrissy Teigen says Meghan Markle is just as kind as everyone says she is. Teigen told Andy Cohen during Tuesday's Watch What Happens Live after show that the Duchess of Sussex wrote to her after her miscarriage last year. The supermodel and cookbook author added, "She's been so kind to me ever since we connected." And by the way, Chrissy got back on Twitter, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That I was leaving. Goodbye. See you on the other side. I'm done. I can't stand the acrimony. And about 3 weeks later, hey!
Yeah, she couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah.
I think that proves that there is a social media addiction of sorts.
And she's got it.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you see Rainn Wilson's response? It was pretty funny. So this was 2 or 3 days ago, and he goes, "I've decided to quit Twitter. It's just too toxic and a time suck, degrading to my self-esteem. I will miss all of my friends here. Goodbye forever." 11 minutes later, I decided to return to Twitter. I will not let my voice be silenced by the toxic bullies. So good to be back. It's a whole new chapter.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I love it.
nice lamponing.
Exactly.
A friend of mine and I were discussing recently of what band deserves a biopic treatment.
Okay.
And I have announcement of the one that I mentioned him that I thought would be perfect. Netflix is reportedly fast-tracking a deal for the first official Kiss biopic.
Oh, wow.
With the full cooperation of co-founders Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons.
I'm honored to announce that I will be portrayed by Andy Cohen.
Although still unannounced officially, Deadline reported that the film titled Shout It Out Loud.
Shout Out Loud.
Will be directed by Norwegian filmmaker Joachim Ronning, best known for Kon-Tiki, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, and Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Those are some fine films.
The script will be written by Ole Sanders. Deadline posted about the film, the band's concert arena anthems will be a big part of this, but the film will focus on that duo going back to when they were two misfit kids from Queens who formed an unlikely friendship, starting Kiss.
Mommy, can I have some money for the ice cream man?
Starting Kiss after enlisting guitarist Ace Frehley and drummer Peter Criss. Trying to set themselves apart from the hair bands of the day, they accented their power chords and pyrotechnics with makeup.
I made a doo-doo in my underpants.
He said, at heart, their formative story is in the vein of the Commitments.
Interesting.
If that Irish soul band employed makeup and spiked heels.
So they're gonna have a little bit of theatrical fun with it.
I would hope so. Yeah,
you have to. They're a band that's over the top.
It calls for it for sure. But and if they cover the sexual exploits of Gene and the band overall, it will be, like The Dirt did some of that. It'll
I loved
be
it.
Over the top.
And Machine Gun Kelly was awesome as Tommy. They really did a good job. This is one where casting is going to be critical.
Absolutely. Yep. The 200,000 plus LeVar Burton boosters who signed a petition calling for him to be the new Jeopardy host will get to see him try the job on for size. They said yes, they greenlit it. Yeah.
Maybe we should take a crack at getting that.
He's among the final group of guests to host for the quiz show. Burton supporters seized the opportunity to launch an online petition for the actor, of course, who starred on Star Trek The Next Generation, Roots, and Reading Rainbow, to name a few. In his career, Burton is inspired, this is according to the release, or to the petition, it said, Burton has inspired and shaped the minds of several generations of trivia-loving nerds. In an email, a spokeswoman for Burton said he believes the petition drive and social media interaction with fans were factors in the invitation for him to be a guest host. I think we have a clip.
We do have a clip of him being blown away by the results.
Here we go.
It's overwhelming, man. It really is. And I got to feel that whether I get this job or not, I've already won. It's like, who would do that? Take time out of their day to go to a website, put in their name and an email address. I'm grateful. And the support, I got to believe they're listening. I mean, I have to believe that they're listening.
Right?
That's cool.
It'd be cool, though, honestly. And they may not have ever done anything stuntish like this, but Brent Spiner as Data, as the...
actually, that would be funny.
That would be cool.
He was so great. I love Geordie. I thought that was such a great character.
Yes, absolutely.
And he was Kunta Kinte, right?
Yes, he was.
From Roots.
Yes, he was.
Wow, man.
Yes.
Man, oh, man. So he is going to be going in at the tail end. Some of the other ones that remained, there are no dates as of yet, but George Stephanopoulos and Robin Roberts of ABC, David Faber of CNBC, and sportscaster Joe Buck are the other temp hosts getting 1 week stunts.
One more, Mickey Rourke.
Oh my God. Could you imagine?
This is a particular kind of burp.
They should do like him and Gary Busey and a few others.
Get the most
train wreck guys.
ineloquent train wreck guys. Yeah.
You would have to tune in for that without question.
You see Mickey Rourke there with the rings on all of his fingers and his pink glasses, and he's like adjusting. I'm sorry, I can't. I got lost my paper.
Get Charlie Sheen out there.
Oh my God!
Freaking Daily Double.
That is wrong.
Yeah. Go big or go home, pussy.
But calls him a.
Make it a true one. Oh, I guess you didn't want to make it a true one, you pussy.
And all the categories are like, Mercury, surfboard for
whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
That's the potpourri category when Charlie goes.
Right.
Whatever.
A Mercury surfboard.
Yeah.
Tiger's blood. Silver rocket.
Famous warlocks.
Warlocks.
You get to see again. Not
a duh. I'll take a duh for 40.
duh.
All right. Kathy sent me this story. The 93rd Academy Awards are this Sunday.
Yes.
And this is from 6ABC's website. They were shining a light on local stars going for Hollywood Gold. And the first Oscar nomination for Allentown native Amanda Seyfried.
Oh.
She's up for Best Supporting Actress for her role in Mank. And she calls this moment a turning point in her career.
Mank?
And her confidence. Yep.
Yeah.
She said it was a shock. She said from Mean Girls to Mamma Mia, Seyfried has been in more than 60 television series and movies. 20 years into her career, she's earned her first Oscar nod as her role as Marion Davies. She said, this just felt like a bonus, a massive bonus that I wasn't looking for and I wasn't expecting it, but I am freely welcoming that in. She's now married, mother of two, living on a farm in the Catskills. That's where she calls
I
home.
did not know that. I didn't know she's from this area.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. She said, the thinking was that I was always going to go back to nature. I grew up in the suburbs. And, of course, that was in Allentown where she says the support was strong. She said that grounds you and makes you feel like anything is possible. Also, my expectations weren't that high. I just knew what I wanted to do. Nobody in Allentown ever made me feel like it wasn't possible.
So she was living there in Allentown.
Right there when they were closing all the factories
She
down.
got her start in soap operas. So I guess it was, an easy ride from Allentown to New York City.
Sure, and I'd seen her prior to that, and then she was in Mean Girls, and then had a few other films, and A Million Ways to Die in the West case.
Yeah. What did we have her in for?
We had her in for.
It was like 2000.
Oh, it was the Dear John thing with.
Yes. The Nicholas Sparks film.
That's right. Yes.
Yep.
Was it Josh Duhamel in that?
No, it was
that him?
Channing Tatum.
Oh, Channing Tatum. That's right.
Were they here together?
They were.
They here together because we had Channing twice, right?
Yes, we did.
Oh my God! So is he top 5 of our friends?
He might be.
It depends. My head hurts.
By the way, for Oscar Sunday, Seyfried and her family will travel from upstate New York to Los Angeles for the big night. So that'd be cool if
I have to say,
Allentown.
I have virtually no interest in the Academy Awards this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Same. Does anyone?
I know. And there is a roster of very sad, depressing movies.
Right.
Up for it, and I don't know.
I mean, it's coming off of a weird year anyway for movies. But Steve, I'm with you. And normally I like tuning in because there's one or two that I'm excited about. But
and they're even saying that they're going to stay apolitical and controversial and not preachy, and it doesn't matter. I just really have no interest.
Right. I love this. Netflix has renewed the game show Floor is Lava. For a second season. I just recently went back and watched a couple of episodes.
It's fun, man.
It's
if you haven't seen it. And who's the producer, local girl that we had on? She's great.
I have forgotten her name. I do know that Rutledge Wood will be returning to host the show. The game popped up on Netflix when it premiered in June of 2020, and we were a few months into COVID at that point, so we needed something fun to watch, and that certainly was it.
I love how when they fall in, that's it. You don't see them.
They're dead.
They do a little bit of creative editing.
They warn them.
Yeah, and they never come back. But you may think, okay, this is not something I'm going to be into, but what you start to do is you start to break down the room. And when my wife and I are watching, it's like, no, they have to get over to that thing,
right,
and then stand on that and make the jump. They can do it.
Yeah, don't go on the pyramid.
Right.
It looks easy, but it's hard.
Not.
Yes.
With this show, though, I think, like with Double Dare, I always watched that and thought, I could do that.
Yes.
I'm watching, I'm like, there's no way.
Physically.
Yeah.
It'd
I
be
tell you
difficult.
what, for video gamers, Preston, and for Tomb Raider fans,
yeah,
I could, maybe I could.
The only reason I don't think I could do is when things get slippery, right?
Well, that's what makes the pyramid a bitch.
Yeah. And it's Megan McGrath, by the way.
Okay.
Megan, yes.
So anyhow, according to the streamer to Netflix, 37 million members, households tuned into the series' first season in its first 4 weeks of the service. Floor's Lava joined Love is Blind and Too Hot to Handle as notable unscripted hits for the platform during the second quarter of the company's fiscal 2020. By the way, Netflix revealed on Tuesday in its earnings report that it is on track to spend $17 billion on content in this fiscal year.
I don't doubt it.
Which is a notable spike from $11.8 billion in 2020 when the pandemic halted television and film production across the industry.
You remember Megan was telling us that they had to come up with a specific consistency to the lava to make it work and to have it keep that sort of red hue.
One last streaming story, and then we'll move along. Disney and Sony Pictures yesterday announced a major licensing agreement that will bring both library and upcoming film and TV titles to Disney Plus, Hulu, ABC, and FX, and other Disney-owned cable channels. The pact, which covers everything from the Sony Spider-Man series, which was the Tobey Maguire stuff, to Jumanji, is a sure sign as ever that Sony will not be launching its own streaming service. And it's interesting.
Well, thank God.
It's interesting how this works. So the deal gives Disney U.S. streaming and TV rights for Sony's new theatrical releases from 2022 to 2026 and begins for each filming following its Pay One TV window. Now, I'll explain this in a second, because earlier this month, Sony and Netflix announced a deal that will see the studio's theatrical films sent to Netflix during the Pay One window, which begins after movies leave theaters and have been released on DVD and video on demand. So the way this will work is, under the new deal, Sony's theatrical films will first go to theaters, then to video on demand and DVD, then to Netflix, and then after a while they'll go to Disney. So it's going to go in that order. And these are the things that they're going to start to figure out how they're going to work. So
it's so convoluted.
After they've already spent time on Netflix and they go away, they'll be kind of part of this, not quite gold library, but older, what we call recurrence in radio. It'll go to a different category and then make its way as a library to Disney, which is kind of interesting.
Sony made the declaration to abstain from the simultaneous home and theater release?
I haven't seen anything about that. I think they probably will just go back to the theater thing is my guess, but I don't know, Steve.
There's some stuff, honestly, and I understand why if you're M. Night Shyamalan and you have something big and you wanted to be in the theaters, I'm all for that. But there are some movies that I'm like, I am fine. Like, for example, if I had paid to see Wonder Woman 1984, in the theater, I would have freaked out.
So additionally, the Disney-Sony deal will bring a significant number of Sony library titles to Disney's streaming services and TV channels, including the Jumanji and Hotel Transylvania franchises. Most notably, they'll be having a hold on the Marvel titles, including Spider-Man. Library titles will appear on Hulu beginning as early as this June. So
come on,
whatever, man.
Yeah,
it's hard to keep track of it all.
I've stopped fighting. Every service that I got pissed off about having to pay extra for, I now end up loving. So I submit. I give up.
Let's get to the clips.
Woo!
In the circle, players must choose whether to be themselves or other people while competing for a cash prize. And here, Season 2 star Chloe Veitch talks about what it's like to be filmed on a reality show.
I mean, you have to tell the producers whenever you want to go to the toilet. So it's like, I just need to go to the toilet now. And then they kind of like turn the cameras around and like cut the mic and the audio so you can actually have some peace. But I think when you go onto a TV program, you need to expect to be recorded 24 hours of the day.
Could you shut up?
I've never heard of the show. Season 2, Week 2 of The Circle is streaming now on Netflix.
What the hell is
there
it?
Was,
I
don't know what it is, but there was a local person that was, I think he was from Conshohocken.
So what are they acting?
I don't know. It's good-looking people.
They are good-looking.
I think it was a mom and a son. Wait, let me see if that's the show.
That girl that you just read about, Preston, Chloe Veitch, she was on that other show. So she's now a reality show veteran. So she was on, you guys remember that show, Too Hot to Handle, that came out last year?
Yeah.
She was on that, which was just one of the worst TV shows I've ever seen, and I couldn't stop watching it. And then now she's on this piece of crap.
All right, well, here is the next clip. In Honeydew, a young couple couple is plagued with visual hallucinations after taking shelter with a farmer and her curious son. In this clip, actress Barbara Kingsley talks about how her experience in this business has helped her with her character traits.
Well, I've been doing stage work for 46 years, and you cobble from what you've got. I knew a limp was important. I knew I had to develop the limp such that I could do the length of the shoot and not injure myself.
Vagina.
All you do is now streaming on Amazon Prime Video and Apple TV. All right, we got to wrap right there. That's it.
That's it.
That's what I got for you in the entertainment report. We are going to get you some money, opportunity to win some money, $500 2 times with us alone. It goes
Schuylkill eastbound, slowing the Blue Route to Conshohocken the Boulevard to Spring Garden, and then Broad Street to Front Street through the construction zone there westbound. Backing up from City to Belmont, and then near Conshohocken the Boulevard southbound. Slows Broad to Fox. 95 southbound. Jams from Cottman to Girard. Once you get to the Vine westbound, it's heavy Broad Street to the Schuylkill Expressway. New Jersey Turnpike southbound at the Delaware Memorial Bridge, where we had a closure because of an accident. They've now moved the accident off to the shoulder, so the lanes have reopened, but there is still some activity out there. 55 northbound, jams north of Deptford to 42. This traffic report brought to you by teethkeepers.com. Dental and vision benefits for everyone at teethkeepers.com. Options starting under $8 a month. Enroll today and save. Everyone is eligible. Teethkeepers.com is brought to you by Dominion National. And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Very quickly, I just want to clear something up. Yesterday, we had some fun with Talk Like Bill Weston Day.
Yes.
And we didn't know why we were doing Talk by Bill like Bill Weston Day, other than we had gotten an email from Katie Tucci, who's a longtime fan of MMR, and so she had said that she had gotten an alert in her calendar that said it was Talk Like Bill Weston Day. So we just had fun and ran with it a little bit. So here's the origin. I got an email from Katie. It says, I went back and I listened to the podcast from this date last year. You had Ed Begley Jr. on. He mentioned low-hanging fruit. And after the interview, Nick mentions a congressman who said third leg of the stool. And then Preston says, I didn't realize that April 21st was Talk Like Bill Weston Day.
There you go.
She said it's at the 2 hours and 15-minute mark on the podcast. My apologies to Kathy, as I thought it was her who started the dialogue. It was Nick. So there you go. That is why I put it in my calendar reminder. And she says, I've been a loyal listener to MMR since 1984. It was really a cool day for me as a listener. I turned 50 last month, and that was like a birthday present, us mentioning that and doing that yesterday.
Cool.
She said, also, I wanted to thank all of you and the rest of the air staff for making this very unnormal year of working from home more normal. Listening to WMMR while I work is my normal routine. So cheers to low-hanging fruit and three-legged stools, and to Bill Weston for being the best program director at the best rock radio station in the country. You guys rock. Katie Tucci still working from home, she says. Somebody had written, may all your legs have three stools yesterday. I love that. That's excellent. So that was the origin of Talk Like Bill Weston Day. And by the way, Marissa had posted a video that I actually snuck this. I illegally filmed Bill one time at one of our jock meetings, and because he was gesticulating wildly. And then Nick Murphy took some sound effects and put them to the audio. So if you want,
it's our old conference room.
Yep, it's on our Instagram and Twitter accounts if you want to check that out. All right, so you know what? I think before we get to the end of the week, I need to bring you up to speed on the latest food news, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Simon the Connoisseur. Let's see if the connoisseur himself will remember to put on his puffy hat.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
All right, hang on.
Connoisseur's upset because it doesn't quite fit over his headphones. Visually, it's what we love to see.
I always forget about it. All right,
maybe you need to let that out, Connoisseur.
Why don't you put the hat on and then put the headphones over the hat?
Why don't you do that?
No, I don't think that'll work. I'll stick with this. It's not so bad. There we go.
There you go.
All right, now I am the connoisseur. Steve, this story is for you. This came out earlier in the week. It might have even come out last week, and I didn't get a chance to get to it. But better late than never. K-pop.
Yes.
Superstars BTS have partnered with McDonald's to offer the band's favorite order starting on May 26th. It's going to be called the BTS meal.
I know, Rob, having lunch.
They announced, and they used, the announcement, they used French fries to emulate the group's iconic logo. It actually looks pretty cool.
Come on.
It includes a 10-piece chicken McNugget, medium fries, and a medium Coke, complete with sweet chili and Cajun dipping sauces.
Man, the boys have good taste.
Inspired by popular McDonald's South Korea recipes available in the United States for the first time ever.
So these are the first times that South Korean McDonald's menu items have ported over to the United States.
I guess the sweet chili and Cajun dip. I don't know why the Cajun dipping sauces, but
Cajun food comes from South Korea.
The sweet chili thing, but that's what my daughter always gets: a 10-piece chicken nuggets, medium fries. She gets a medium Sprite usually, not a Coke, but it's pretty close.
She's not into BTS, right?
She's not into BTS.
Yeah, that's
at all,
for
no.
little girls like me.
No, she's going to be like a punk rocker, I think.
Yeah.
The BTS meal will hit the U.S. on May 26 at participating restaurants and will be available globally in nearly 50 countries. And BTS's label Big Hits Music said in a statement, the band has great memories with McDonald's. We're excited about this collaboration and we can't wait to share the BTS meal with the world.
Some publicists wrote that and signed their name.
The BTS collab is the latest installment of McDonald's famous orders program, which featured partnerships with J Balvin and Travis Scott, whose order marked the first celebrity meal at the fast food chain since Michael Jordan's 1992 McJordan burger.
All right.
I don't remember a McJordan burger.
I don't at all.
And I'm now curious as to what was on it.
Maybe there was no bun on the top of it.
Yeah, it was bald.
What would be your celebrity menu offering at McDonald's?
You know what? I'd probably, Steve, if they were to give me my own McDonald's thing, I would bring back the Mac Jr.
The Mac Jr.
Which didn't last long at all.
It was good, though.
And instead of 2 all-beef patties, it was just 1, I believe, and didn't have that third piece of bread in the middle, which when I worked at McDonald's was called the Club. And it was a smaller version of the Big Mac, easier to handle.
I do remember it.
I would probably go with that, and like a small fry or something along those lines.
Mine would be considered, I'm sure, lame for a lot of people, but I stand by it. It's a double quarter pounder with nothing on it,
no cheese,
nothing, completely naked. A large fry and a soda and/or an iced tea.
Okay,
yeah,
I like it. Maybe they'll.
I know it's bland, but it's me
starting on that. So the Travis Scott meal included a quarter pounder with cheese, bacon, lettuce, pickles, ketchup, and mustard, medium fries with barbecue sauce for dipping, and a Sprite. Was accompanied by a popular merchandise line and led to a viral TikTok trend in which customers pulled up to the drive-thru blasting the artist's hit song Sicko Mode.
Sicko Mode.
Yeah.
So they could pull up blasting our podcast.
Yeah, they could do that. What was the McJordan, Nick?
It had barbecue sauce, pickles, mustard. I remember serving it. I was working at McDonald's when it became, and it was like at the height of Jordan's fame, and it was before he left the NBA to go play baseball for a little bit. So it was a huge seller.
All right, so it was a quarter pounder.
Yeah.
But with bacon, barbecue sauce, onions, mustard, and pickles.
I hated when those things. We would have meetings at McDonald's to roll out the ingredients and all of the when the Dick Tracy promotion happened. I remember
the Dick Burger.
No, well. But it was,
right? You remember that? It was big, right, Preston?
And then they had the Big Dick Burger, too.
Yeah, the Big Dick Burger.
Oh, so you had the Junior.
Well, for Dick Tracy.
And then you had the Big Dick Burger.
I'll have the Big Dick. Yeah. It was.
I'll have a double Dick Burger and.
I think they gave away $1 million with the Dick Tracy promotion, so that's why that was a big deal. And
it was huge.
Dominated. It was everywhere.
The Dick Tracy Monopoly game, too.
Yeah.
I remember that. Dick Burger.
I can't remember what I was going to say.
Okay, it's all good.
I wanted to ask, do you think the way they're making the burgers is the same as when you worked there, Nick?
Haven't they modified? You can get the option of a hand-formed... Right, that was a big sell point for them for a while.
I don't know how many
fresh not frozen.
Yes, fresh not frozen.
I don't know how much of an evolution that they have with the actual grill on the back though. Case like to me,
was it a grill?
It was like a flat grill, like Burger King had the flame broiled Whoppers or whatever, so you could see the flames coming up in between the grill.
But like a griddle, it was like actually
like
cooking,
a griddle.
Frying on the griddle.
Yep.
Okay.
They would use that for pretty much everything that they cooked back there too. So it was the burgers, it was fajitas, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Also breakfast items.
I heartily recommend, if you have not seen it, I've mentioned a few times during the connoisseur segments, the People That Fed America, I think was the name of the series on the History Channel. You get the background on everything, on the Whopper, on the Big Mac, and it's bizarrely riveting how they come up with these things and how they say, okay, people like this, but how do we mass produce this to feed the people who are coming in for it? And these are all the things that you have to juggle to make a successful fast food item.
See, my go-to is a quarter pounder, but I don't like the onions, so and it automatically comes with onions. So I'm getting.
Get it naked like I do.
Well, no, I like the cheese, but so it's not necessary. Well, it is a complaint, but the consistency at McDonald's is not it's not uniform, and it's not a knock because I still go to McDonald's.
Really?
But I can't stand. Well, see, you don't get cheese, so you don't know my plight. the cheese isn't melted. When I get my quarter pounder, it's not melted. So then I kind of have to let it sit on the burger for a little while. And I like to eat and drive at the same time.
Yeah.
And what I found is that the burger is not hot enough on its own to melt the cheese to my liking.
Could you drive and in your glove compartment keep one of those little caramelizing creme brulee torches?
I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to. I should get it the way I want it.
Well, here's the reason for that, probably, Casey, is they've had to, instead of making the burger, which comes, standard order, with the onions and mustard and ketchup and all that, pickles and stuff that comes on that actually is going to sit there for just a little bit, and that's going to give time for that cheese to melt.
Yeah.
You're ordering one fresh like this.
Yes.
They've just slapped that cold cheese on there and wrapped it up and handed it to you. If you're going to order it that way, you're just going to have to wait.
I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that Preston is right. Preston, you worked there, as did Nick. When the ketchup and the condiments are being placed on the burger, is there an automatic squirting device, or is it old? There is.
There was, yeah.
Okay.
Well, so the way it worked, it was like this big. It was like a jug almost thing with a hole on the bottom and a little trigger that you would pull, and you just go bang, 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 bang. Yep.
And it kept consistency, so you weren't over squirting.
Yep.
Like happens in adult films.
It does. Right. Sometimes they squirt too much.
Right. So, but did you have a squirter, or like somebody who was just a squirter?
No, I had to
take care of this.
I had.
Mr. North, you'll be our squirter.
I had to put together the whole. Quarter pounders were my thing. That's what I had to do, and I had to put together the whole burger myself.
I was wondering why you were getting so defensive.
I have to ask.
I'm not being defensive. You're being defensive.
Gosh, why is he being so defensive? All right, I have to ask this as well, connoisseur.
Yep.
As many as you were making, did you ever have one where you go, "Damn, that's a perfect." That's a perfect Big Mac.
I only worked at McDonald's for 2 weeks, so I didn't have enough time.
So when they had your retirement party,
oh my God, I hated it.
Steve, it was assembly line work. You would crank it.
Well, would you have it, Nick? Where you would?
Yeah, you know when you would have it? When you weren't doing the assembly line stuff. Like during slow times, and listen, I learned to cook a little bit at McDonald's because you had access to the grill, you had access to ingredients, and so when you can do stuff on your own outside of the rushes, like that lunch rush from 11 to say 1:30.
Brutal, right?
Oh my God,
brutal.
It's nonstop. And when people are coming nonstop through the drive-through, they know what they want. Casey, they have their specific order in mind, and so that's what they're designed for. They want people to come in, get the food, and get the hell out.
Nick, did you ever have a school bus pull into the parking lot?
Oh my God!
Are you kidding?
Oh, dude!
Oh my God!
It would be like,
yes, yeah. It's
they would sound the alarm.
Oh my God!
There's a bus in the parking lot. Ready?
Seriously?
Dude, it was like,
it
was like Pearl Harbor,
funny.
Kathy. All of a sudden, the alarms start going off, and everybody naval stations.
Tuesday afternoon, December 7th.
Yeah.
So Nick, you have a bus full of kids.
Oh my God!
How do they process that kind of order?
You panic.
Yep.
You start literally, Steve. What you start to do is make everything on the menu. You start. All right, we're going to need 60 Big Macs. We're going to need 60 quarter pounders, and you do that knowing that some of those are going to end up in the bin afterwards, and you're just going to hang on for a while.
Yeah. All right. So one last question, because I'm fascinated by McDonald's and all this. When you do the French fry thing with the trough or the handheld trough,
I was on fries for a long time.
What do they call it?
The basket.
All right, the basket. So when you pour it into the container, would the goal be to get them all in a vertical thing as per the advertisements?
No. The goal was to have them cook right on time, not stay in the deep fryer a second longer than they needed to be. One time I got demoted from cashier to third fry guy. My job was to take.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were the backup to the backup?
It was an inspection day, and I was not fast enough or, I don't know, pleasant enough at the cashier. So not only was I not first or second fry guy, I was the guy that took the frozen fries from the freezer, dumped them into the baskets. I didn't get to then put them in the basket, into the deep fryer, and then somebody else got to bag them and bring them to the cashiers.
All right, we're not gonna. We have other connoisseur stories, but I want to go to Michelle. She's an assistant at McDonald's, and it's been a long time since Nick and I have worked there. Hi, Michelle. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Wonderful. You wanted to comment on the quarter pounders, Michelle?
Well, I was an assistant GM about 3 months ago, and the quarter pounders are now coming in not frozen. They're not frozen. They're fresh, and they're putting on the grill as soon as they're ordered, and then you have to wait for it, and then when they come off the grill, they put the cheese right on them, and then they go right out the door. So that's why it's not time there's not enough time for the cheese to melt before you get
Right, and if you could use like a liquid cheese, which would not be good. And obviously you can't be grilling putting the cheese on the grill because that mucks things up.
And the heat will eventually melt it. It's just going to take a couple of minutes.
Well, I usually order a 6-piece nugget to buy me some time. I do. What do you
kill
want?
some time by eating these chicken nuggets. Melt my cheese.
I'll have I'll have 10 or 20 nuggets. Now look at my mouth, my jaw working.
And Michelle, like we were just talking about, when a school bus, I mean, it hasn't happened in a while, obviously, but when a bus pulls into the parking lot, have you been working there long enough to see that happen?
and you freak out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you literally freak out. You go, bus, and everybody screams.
Bus!
Yeah. You yell
it's
bus.
Like, it's like general
so
quarters on a battleship.
It really is.
I never knew that.
Bus!
Thank you, Michelle. Yeah.
Bus.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on to something else in the food files of the connoisseur.
What else do we have, connoisseur?
Well, we're gonna stick with something that's fast food oriented, and it's French fries. But apparently, the russet Burbank is a potato variety grown in North America, which is widely used to make French fries and is believed to be the type of potato that McDonald's uses. But farmers in the potato-growing state of Idaho rely on water from melting snow in the mountains to irrigate the crop, and climate change is leading to less snow, which melts more quickly, affecting the growth of the potatoes, they're saying.
Oh, no.
Hot, dry weather can also influence the way the potato grows and ultimately how it tastes and looks when served.
So the russet is the perfect French fry potato, is what is believed to be the case?
I guess so, yeah. So some researchers have already started working on creating hybrid potato varieties which are more resistant to climate change. We make fries at home from time to time.
It's a lot of work, isn't it?
Just by baking them, though.
Oh, do you?
It's easy, right?
And we use russets, and they're not going to.
Do you make them from scratch?
They're not going to taste quite like the type you get at fast food restaurants. But I think they're really good. It's just salt and pepper and oil, and you put them in the oven at 425 or something like that.
You don't blanch them first, or
don't blanch them. No. Now you can
use Sophia them
if you're going to fry them. I think.
Okay.
Well, these taste Dorothy.
These are being baked, and I love them that way. They're
I
really
can
good.
even cook that.
Yeah, you could.
No, you can't.
No, I do. I do it all the time. Yeah, it's easy.
So you just cut up a potato into sticks, into fry shapes, and
Tonight,
and
the
bake them.
story of a four-alarm fire in Conshohocken apparently began with a French fry making effort that resulted in disaster.
No, you guys know I'm honest about my cooking abilities, and this is something that I can actually do. Yeah, but they're like Preston said, they're not. I mean,
they're not good.
Bobby Flay said
I sell them to Jace's fries, but they're not really. They're just.
I think they're good.
Well, Bobby Flay said take regular, frozen potatoes, and you can prepare them in a way, French fries, and prepare them.
Yeah.
And skip up the game, right? Or am I misremembering that case? We asked him one time.
I don't remember.
Frozen ones?
Should you make them from scratch, or
By the way, in a related story, more on shortages, but this affecting your barbecue plans this summer. According to new reports,
I'm tired of shortages.
Pork products could be in short supply.
Okay, I'm okay with that.
And that's bacon, though, dude.
I know.
And this
we got turkey bacon.
Could be made worse. That's true. As restaurants reopen and people start having more social gatherings. Unfortunately, there's reportedly been a shortage of hogs for over a year now.
Got a hog in my pants.
You're thinking of penis. The problems stem from the pandemic, which saw several processing plants and farms shut down due to outbreaks. I remember one in specific where a bunch of people were coming down with COVID, and they had to shut down their pork processing plants. And also, those that remained open still had to deal with staffing issues also related to the pandemic. Food and agricultural economist Isaac Oliveira says that the supply chain is already being stressed, and the problems aren't likely to be fixed by summer. Shortage on these products could also mean that
summer bacon,
traditional deals and sales on pork products may be scarce this summer. So it'll be interesting to see if that ends up being the case. We do pork tenderloins quite a bit, because they're a lot of times you'll find them in the stores. They've been with various marinades. They're real easy to make, and my family loves them. So we're a regular on pork tenderloins. So and they're real tender and yummy, and so
had me a ham.
Yeah, a thumbs up on that.
Summer pork chops had me a blast. Summer pork chops happen so fast.
Okay.
Met a pig crazy for me. You caught me off guard.
All right, Dairy Queen. Let's go to some. Let's have dessert now.
Okay, so are you a Dairy Queen guy?
Very much so. Because we have one nearby us.
So we have one not so nearby us, but I went out on a special mission for my wife to get their, what are their blizzards?
Yeah.
She loves them.
Yeah.
You know.
What, anyone specific?
I think I got one of everyone for her to sample, and we had some other people over, and they do the thing where they make it and then they turn it upside down.
Yep.
Yeah.
I even like the regular straight up vanilla cone there.
I feel like
soft serve ice cream is great.
I only get the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Blizzard. That's the only one that I get, and every time I go there, I want to branch out, but I'm like, but I love it, and I know that I know
Most
that
time
I love
I just get a plain vanilla cone. I love them.
I want to hear the story, and then I have a complaint.
Okay, all right. So here's the deal. It does have to do with blizzards. They have a new summer blizzard treat menu.
Summer blizzard.
Yes. Okay.
You let me know when I can jump in.
Go ahead.
All right, so the lineup includes, here are the flavors. Girl Scout Thin Mints.
Ooh.
You cannot go wrong with that.
Thin Mints.
Thin Mints. Go ahead.
Trefoils.
Wait. Start from the beginning.
Okay.
Hang on. You got Girl Scout Thin Mints, brownie batter, raspberry fudge bliss, and Nestle drumstick with peanuts. Actually, there's more.
Oh, there's more? Okay, well,
So that is the one I would have. Nestle drumstick with peanuts. My favorite ice cream novelty to buy at the grocery store is our drumsticks. The Nestle drumstick with peanuts. You know drumsticks?
Yes, I do.
Right.
And you found those little mini ones, too.
Yeah, the itty-bitty ones. Also, frosted animal cookie.
I will tell you this.
Oh, no.
Okay, keep going.
And cotton candy.
To me, I tap out on most of that. If you jam too much crap into my ice cream, I'm not happy. I'll take a couple of additions. The most elaborate I get as far as jamming stuff into my ice cream would be something on the order of like our own gadzooks,
yeah.
and or the fish food casing.
Sometimes it just gets too complicated.
It's too much.
You're putting too much in
It's
there.
complicated.
I agree.
Like just a regular vanilla or chocolate and maybe one thing added.
You are so right, because my defining thing is, it's how I judge any place. What are your base flavors like? And then that's how you know if it's going to be a good place.
Now, next complaint.
You guys are defining my complaint, and here's the counterpoint to it, or the counter product, I should say. Rita's has the concretes, right? And I got that Reese's Mudslide. Casey, it's the counter, their product for to compete with the Blizzard. It's too damn good. It was ridiculous amount of sweetness and Reese's stuff and ice cream packed into, 16 ounces of pure sin. And
Yeah.
I felt like a bitch afterwards.
Really?
Oh my God!
Were you crying naked in the corner?
There was so much chocolate crammed in there. It was. Listen, every bit of it was delicious, but I could have had 4 bites and been fine.
Right,
man. When you have to talk to a crisis counselor,
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the more generic ones.
I
more
can't
basic
believe
ones.
your complaint is that it's too yummy.
Well,
Yeah,
he
it's
does
too
make
yummy.
a point.
It's too
It's
good.
like they're enabling. It's like when you open up a heroin shop outside of a rehab facility.
I downloaded the Lose It app. You guys have talked about it for years, and then I've been pretty good for about a week, and then I went to Rita's, and I was like, well, I might as well throw this entire phone out.
Yeah,
Have you
can't
ever? Will you even go near those places that have the milkshake with the full brownie and that piece of cake and there's the place in the city that has it. The Marissa, I know what you're talking about. Super milkshake with all.
The only time I'll do something like that is if I'm at like a sit-down dinner. I won't do that.
How can you eat your dinner and then eat that?
I always leave room. I always leave room. I make sure that there's room for soup.
Yeah. Wait, appetizer, soup, entree, dessert. That is your usual MO.
And Preston, you left out the 6 warm-up nuggets.
No, that is for the car, Steve. Oh, soup always. Okay, appetizer if it strikes my fancy.
Yeah,
but I rarely finish my entree.
Okay.
And then if there's bread pudding on the menu, yeah, I am definitely going to the bathroom to make some room, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to go rub one out real quick, right?
No. Well, maybe.
All right, I have one last story.
Okay.
Sorry. We're going to move on because I want to squeeze in one more, and then we got a break because we're going to get ready for the money clip. All right, in honor of Pride Month this year, which is in June, Kellogg's and Glad have come together to introduce a new cereal, and it is called Together with Pride, and aims to celebrate everyone having a seat at the table and show support for the LGBTQ community.
Okay, what's the flavor?
The cereal looks like Fruit Loops that have been pressed into heart shape, so it's going to have the rainbow appeal to it.
Are they Fruit Loops, basically?
I believe so. So the colorful pieces are berry flavored and topped with edible glitter. So, yeah.
Did you see the Tony's new commercial? I'm gay!
You'll be able to find the cereal at select retailers nationwide beginning in mid-May.
Yeah, this edible glitter,
Is it good?
I don't know, but over New Year's, I had it. My friend put it in.
Edible glitter?
In champagne, yeah.
This is going to revolutionize the stripping industry.
And then, added it to the rim of the drink. So it was
I could see that.
Like you would do with salt or.
Now, is it similar to the decorations you see on a cake or something like that?
Yeah, it's just.
Okay.
I mean, it's like.
I don't know what is in it.
It's just like sugar, but
shards of glass.
Somehow it comes. They're making it sparkly to make it look like it's glitter.
Okay. So that will be coming out in mid-May in celebration of Pride Month in June.
I like the box, the design. They've got a number of the characters there, all looking happy. Yeah, I'm down with this.
Nice.
Good for them.
All right, one more thing.
One more thing for the connoisseur.
Yeah.
His head's deflating.
Let's go with is it deflating?
Just a bit.
Okay. IHOP has created a new bacon obsession menu that
This
features
is at a bad time, you just said earlier.
a bacon the chain describes as 5 times thicker than its regular bacon.
And veiny.
You kind of put your hands up like, what's the point?
Yeah, well, bacon being thin is what makes it bacon.
I agree. I like a thinner bacon.
Well, Canadian bacon is. Are they talking about Canadian bacon?
No, they're talking about regular,
bacon,
slab bacon. But I prefer because you can get what they call a hearty cut.
Yeah.
But Casey, I like the thin, crispy.
I agree.
Kind of crumble in your mouth.
Yes.
Crispy,
bacon.
crispy.
Mm-hmm.
Do Americans call it American bacon? I mean, do Canadians call it American bacon?
That's a good question. They very well might.
Yeah.
Freaking Canadians.
And
freaking Canadians.
And I think is Canadian bacon back bacon, or is that something different?
Pretty similar, right?
Yes, very similar. In fact, they may be exactly the same thing, but it is. It's almost like on the Yumbo, the Burger King breakfast sandwich, they had Canadian bacon, which was basically a round bacon patty.
Well, it's on an Egg McMuffin too.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Of course. Of course.
The new bacon can be ordered alone, and it's also featured on new menu items such as the Steakhouse Premium Bacon Burger and the Maple Bacon Milkshake.
What?
So I assume they probably put, bacon crumbles on that. I don't think they blend up,
Does each meal come with the defibrillator?
I don't know. The new bacon will be available won't be available until June 13th.
Look at this picture of the menu items.
Wow.
I mean, for Christ's sake, that has got to be 15,000 calories.
Yeah. Some other new menu items include the
looks good.
candied bacon pancakes, the Steakhouse BLT, Bacon Lovers Combo, and the Oreo and Bacon Waffle Sundae.
You know my dilemma with pancakes, right?
Among others.
I love them, and yet I can't bring myself to have them for breakfast. To me, it is literally like having a piece of
cake,
devil's food cake. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I just can't do it.
I do from time to time. I got to be in the right mood, but I'm usually in the mood for savory more than sweet. Right.
You've been going to the shore a lot more lately. Have you been to Uncle Bill's yet?
I don't think they're open yet.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right, Case? I'm not sure, but the answer is no.
There's also Doc Mike's is down there as well. That's sort of a shore chain, and they're
Big
both
pancake place.
Yeah, Doc Mike's and Uncle Bill's are both. Uncle Bill's is the full title is Uncle Bill's Pancake House.
Oh,
I might go there, but I probably won't go for like the breakfast rush because I know it gets insane.
It does.
Well,
So I might do like an afternoon thing. You got a spot for me?
Yeah, I got a spot for you.
Casey has scoped it out for a couple of years.
No, there's an Uncle Bill's like near the villas that isn't as
hidden.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's not hidden. It's on a major thoroughfare, but
Casey knows about it.
But I know. But not a lot of people go there because it's the same thing. Like I have been to Uncle Bill's and I've waited outside of Uncle Bill's for like 45 minutes. I'm like, like just for pancakes, man.
He's outside.
That's right, it stinks.
Being in a line.
I think I told you guys this before, but my friend from college, just like Arani said, friend.
Yeah.
We used to get shore houses, and we would live down there. And we went to Uncle Bill's. We waited for like 45 minutes to an hour. We finally got a table. We sat down, and it was the next morning after going probably to the Preston until 2 a.m. And the waitress said, "Can I get you coffee?" And she goes, "Do you want me to S my pants?" And I was like, "Are you still drunk? Did you just say that to our waitress?" And she's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. I don't know why I said that."
Funny. Oh my God.
That's all I remember about Uncle Bill's.
All right, so they got bacon. They're going bacon crazy at IHOP. That's the last story I have for you. Is the connoisseur this morning?
Connoisseur. Now the hat can come off.
Yes, it can. Hopefully you got something out of that. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back in a moment, and we got your chance to win $500 at our first money clip contest of the morning, and Bizarre File, too. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve
On 93.3 WMMR.
It's the record-setting race you've been waiting for. 200 brand new Volkswagen, all under $200 a month.
clip word is win. 3 letters, easy, W-I-N, and you enter that. You have until 15 minutes after the hour to get it to us. 3 ways for you to do that. You can text it to the special contest short code number, which is 45911. Or if you'd like to be entered for the $10,000 grand prize, do it via the MMR app or at WMMR.com. So again, the word is win. 1 random entry wins $500 in our company-wide contest. That person gets a call from Beasley, so make sure you answer your phone. The contest rules are available at WMMR.com. Sponsored by Hyundai City. The word win. W-I-N. Good luck.
Now, WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
And it's sponsored by Mulch Works of Aston. They offer the highest quality mulch and topsoil that is manufactured on-site. And they also have leaf compost, decorative stone, pavers, and more. Mulch Works has delivery or pickup for residential and commercial markets. Visit mulchthis.com for details. Well, the Athens-Clarke County Fire Department responded to a shocking scene early Friday morning after a massive house party led to a floor collapse.
Oh, man.
All while COVID is still going on, mind you. The department was notified of an incident around 1 a.m. when they received information on the unusually large number of people inside the home. The response was upgraded to include an engine rescue truck and a battalion chief. Police were already on the scene with fire crews when they arrived, working to remove victims from within the structure. Ambulances were also on the scene, and the nature of the emergency led to another fire response upgraded with an additional rescue truck and battalion chief requested. First responders had a difficult time getting close to the home, a 2-story house over a high crawl space, due to the large number of vehicles and people blocking the street. I mean, there were hundreds of people
in the
at this
house.
party. Yes. Reports said that a majority of the first floor had collapsed into the crawl space beneath under the weight of a severely overcrowded party.
Jeez.
Fire crews and medical teams treated around 25 people with a variety of injuries, including scratches and cuts to potentially broken arm. However, no patients were transported by EMS, most either driving themselves or being taken by friends to local area hospitals. Estimates put the size of the party at nearly 500 people.
500 people inside on the floor.
Captain Nate Moss said of the county
That's a lot of people.
Fire and Emergency Services Department, many times overcrowding can result in collapses of decks and flooring, especially in older structures. The thing that helped in this case was the lack of elevation, because they only went through a crawl space.
Right, yeah.
These folks should consider themselves fortunate, he said.
Have you ever been on a deck or at a place where you thought, I'm not sure about this floor?
I have.
Yeah.
And I've left because it's
scary.
It ain't worth it.
Yeah.
A runner talked his way out of a face-off with a large bear that pursued him for several minutes in Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming.
So what are we going to do?
A showdown the runner captured in a 3-minute video that went viral. Evan Matthews said that he often sees bears on his runs, but none had dared to come this close. He said, this one was interested in me, so I had to change its mind. Rather than use his bear spray, which he deemed a last resort, Matthews opted to reason with his ursine inquisitor. In the video, the cinnamon-phased black bear is seen stepping out of the woods and onto a road despite Matthews' stern objections. He's saying, hey, no. He said, I don't care if you're hungry. I'm not your food.
So you're saying that I could be in the cell of a larger being that is the universe?
Yes.
Whoa.
That's a mind blower. That's what he did. He had to blow his mind.
Whoa.
The bear continued to advance, and Matthew says, sure, we could take a walk if you want. But
I'd like that.
He said, you don't get any closer, though.
This has been great. Thank you so much.
Matthews chose to stay in contact with the bear because it was a black bear, and because he said a solo bear with this much interest in a person is not trying to eliminate a threat, is trying to find an easy target, and he said, don't be one. Matthews retreated backwards towards his car and continued talking to the bear, seeking to convince him that he was human and not to be mistaken with any other animal. He said after stalking the runner for half a mile, the bear ran back into the woods.
Do me a favor, leave me your email.
And Matthew said that was exciting, by the way.
It is pretty cool, but dangerous.
Yes. A public sector worker described as the king of absentees by the Italian press is said to have broken the national record by allegedly skipping work for 15 years.
15 years of never attending work?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, straight?
Yeah, police say the hospital employee continued to be paid a monthly salary amounting up to a total of $538,000 despite not turning up for work at the Puglisi Chiaccio Hospital.
So what was his job?
Since 2005. Well, let me give you the background on this. The guy who's 67 faces charges of abusive office, forgery, and aggravated extortion. 6 managers are also being investigated on suspicion of having played a role in enabling his alleged absenteeism, which is rife in Italy's public sector. In an investigation, codenamed Part-Time, police gathered their evidence from attendance and salary records, as well as witness statements from colleagues. In 2005, the man is alleged to have made threats against the hospital director to stop her from filing a disciplinary report over his absenteeism. The director then retired, and the man's absenteeism continued unabated because his attendance was never checked by the director's successor or the Human Resources Department.
So checks would just keep getting cut even though he wasn't showing up.
Correct.
Would he show up for like Christmas parties and stuff like that?
I don't think so.
Do you work with us?
In 2016, the government tightened a law against the work shy after several high-profile police investigations revealed just how rampant absenteeism was across the public sector.
15 years.
In one investigation, police used secret surveillance cameras to ensnare 35 workers in a town hall who had been cheating the time management system for at least 2 years. The wives of 2 of the employees were caught using their husbands' staff cars to clock on for them, while other staff members clocked on before going canoeing, shopping, or out with friends. In another case, a traffic police officer who lived in the same building he worked in was filmed clocking in his underwear before going back to bed. So apparently it happens quite a bit. But this guy had threatened somebody.
That's amazing.
And then they just stuck with it.
Amazing.
All right, I love this story. This is not a news story. It's from Facebook. It's from a woman named Carrie Griffin. And I'm going to read you what she posted along with pictures. She wrote, Caden, which is her son, completed his 6th grade science fair project this past weekend and tackled the challenging task of answering the internet's most burning question, drumroll please, does your cat's butthole really touch all the surfaces in your home?
Oh, my God.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
So she said, we had a lot of fun with this. As a disclaimer, no cats were harmed in the process of this science project. Non-toxic lipstick was applied to their bum-bums. They were then given a series of commands: sit, wait, lie down, and jump up. She said both cats have been trained since kittenhood with a variety of commands, and they also know how to high-five, spin around, and speak. They were compensated with lots of praise, pets, and their favorite treats, and the lipstick was removed with a baby wipe once we collected our data in just under 10 minutes. And she said his results and general findings were: long and medium hair cats' buttholes made no contact with soft or hard surfaces at all.
There you go.
Short-haired cats made no contact on hard surfaces, but we did see evidence of a slight smear on the soft bedding surface. Conclusion is, if you have a short-haired cat and they may be lying on a pile of laundry, an unmade bed, or other soft, uneven surfaces, then their butthole may touch those surfaces.
It's a risk I'm willing to take.
She said, so there you have it. Chances are favorable that your cat's butthole has not and will not touch all of the things and surfaces in your home. But what a great idea for a science project.
To check it out, absolutely.
That's smart.
Dennis used to call it the poop stamp. The cat would sit on the windowsill, and then we would see, like...
No.
Yeah,
little turd smear.
A little poop stamp.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
Man.
Funny.
Your old cat, right?
It was when he got older,
Yeah,
so I
it
don't
happens.
know. There were some
Hell, when I sit down, there's a poop stamp.
And there you go. That is what I have in the bizarre file for you. You got less than 5 minutes to get the word win over to us. It's the money clip. The word is win, W-I-N. If you don't get it this time, don't worry. We got it again at 10 and then noon and 2 and 4 and 6 and 8 p.m. today. Plenty of chances, but don't miss your opportunity. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in just a moment. And am I giving one of these away?
We have so many prizes.
All right, here's what we're going to do. A pair of passes to see for caller number 10, the action event of the year when Mortal Kombat, the worldwide phenomenon, comes to life. So caller number 10, 215-263-WMMR will be in theaters and streaming exclusively on HBO Max tomorrow. It's rated R. We'll be back in a second. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve 93.3 WMMR. The Preston and Steve Small Business Love You, Help You line.
Hello, Preston and Steve. This is Chris from Pedal Pad, a local company owned by two brothers in Coatesville, Pennsylvania, near the VA hospital. Phil and I create handcrafted custom pedal boards for musicians, and we make it simple to pop.
position-wise, you are only allowed to pick jersey numbers per position, right? So like
single digits.
Yeah, or like for quarterbacks, kickers only.
Right. Punters, yeah, exactly.
And like wide receivers are like in the 80s and the teens.
Okay.
So I'll do that quick, and then I'll go to the other, which I think is a more significant change. But so previously only quarterbacks, kickers, and punters, like Casey was saying, were allowed to wear single-digit numbers. Well, the rule change will allow running backs, tight ends, fullbacks, and halfbacks, and wide receivers to wear numbers 1 through 49 and 80 through 89. So they're going to get a grab at some of those single digits if they want to.
That's kind of cool.
Is it cool, or does it confound or confuse things?
Well, it might confuse things, but listen.
Why doesn't everyone have the same number on the field?
Yeah, it's a good question. Here's the thing. Nobody wants, there are some boring numbers, right? So, running backs don't want to be running around wearing number 62, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to really worry about that, right? So the 60s and 70s, those are meant for your linemen, right? And I don't think anybody wants those.
All right, here's a question, Nick. In hockey, generally the defensemen wear the lower numbers, and the goal scorers wear those the larger numbers. Gretzky was 99, 88 was Lindros. I can't believe he's on my phone.
Jake Voracek is 93. Yeah.
So is that just that's not a rule, is it?
No,
it's just kind of it's tradition.
Yeah, Mark Howe was number 2, but goalies.
Okay,
what's the purpose?
Yeah.
Goalies are often in the 30s. However, Bernie Parent was number 1. So I think honestly, Casey, it's probably similar to football, where it's just kind of it's sort of been done this way most of the history of the sport, so people continue to do it that way.
Well, this is an actual rule.
Eric Lindros would be calling his phone.
So what is there an actual functioning purpose of the number delineation?
Might be just easier to keep track of who's out there and who's on the play, who's making certain plays. So
that's what it seems.
Here's a defensive backs can choose from 1 to 49. Linebackers can use 1 to 59 and 90 to 99. Offensive linemen can pick 50 to 79. Defensive linemen are able to wear 50 to 79 and 90 to 99. Quarterbacks, punters, and kickers will remain in the 1 to 19 range.
Okay. All right. So Jalen Hurts was number 2 last year, and he switched his number to number 1. Which is kind of cool. I think that was his.
He got
number.
a promotion.
No, well, he promoted himself. He's like, I'm number 1.
Yeah.
But I believe he was that number when he was the quarterback for Alabama.
Was Tony Franklin number 1, the kicker for the Eagles back in the day?
I don't remember. I have no idea. All I know is that my brother, when he used to get off of the bus, would take his shoe and sock off because he was a barefoot kicker.
Hell yeah.
Let me ask you, can we bump up to 3 digits?
Yeah.
Could the quarterback be 248?
Why would your brother do that when he got off the bus?
Well, because we went to Catholic school. You couldn't take your shoes off at school. So the second he got off of that bus, he took his right shoe and sock off and would walk home from the bus.
In honor of this guy?
He loved that guy, yeah.
Dude, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Any second now.
When I was a kid,
it's off!
Man, you would take your shoe and sock off and you would kick the ball and it would hurt like a mother effer.
Hell yes, it would. I tried it.
But I was Tony Franklin in that very moment.
And you do it?
Oh, my God, yeah.
God, to me, that would sting like a bastard.
It did.
Listen,
It
especially in those colder months, dude.
Yeah.
You're kicking the ball in November, December. No way.
And especially those kicking balls. I mean, in the NFL, they are absolutely pumped tight.
Remember the baseball catcher Hank Gherkin who used to just catch it with his mouth?
Yes.
I mean, for God's sakes.
Okay. All right. And then the other rule that was set, which is interesting, league owners had rejected stronger calls for a full-time sky judge, including one proposal from the Baltimore Ravens that would have created a booth umpire. But instead, owners took a smaller step and gave existing replay officials who are stationed in the press box of each stadium the authority to consult with on-field referees. So replay officials won't be able to throw penalty flags or reverse calls on their own, but they can now offer on-field referees guidance based on what they've seen on broadcast replays concerning possession, completed or intercepted passes, the location of the ball relative to the boundary or end line, and whether a player is down by contact. Before the change, replay officials had been restricted to participating in plays that were under review only, so they can now have some input on that.
Oh, that's interesting.
All right, I mean,
is that good, Case?
Well, yeah, I think so. You sort of have to be careful what you wish for, right? And the Sky Judge was one of those things that's like,
Sky Judge.
If you have them there judging every single play, I mean, listen, then there's going to be a flag on every single play. So
It'll slow the game down.
It'll slow the game down. It'll ruin it a little bit, but you still have to worry about what those judges on the field are doing, right? So you're talking about, is he down by contact? I have seen too many plays that have been blown dead that shouldn't have been blown dead, where it would have either ended it in a touchdown or more yards or whatever. And so they still need those referees on the field to make those right calls.
By the way, coaches won't have to throw challenge flags to prompt this advice from the booth guys.
Okay.
Which some replay officials have been apparently providing on-field referees informally for years.
They have, and
now this will be official.
I have a friend who was a referee in NCAA Division I football. So whatever division, like Notre Dame was in, I can't remember, but he ref those games in particular. And he said that there were people in the booth, like if they threw a flag and it was a little ticky-tack or not the right call, he would be in the earphone of the head umpire and going, no, pick that up.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they have a unique. I think you'd want to get a consensus based on the largest amount of available eyes.
And listen, you want the game to be as fair as possible, right?
That's the ultimate goal.
And you don't want any. Yeah, absolutely. You don't want any bad call. Or non-call to dictate the outcome of a game. It
just slows it down.
It slows it down so much,
and that part of it is exhausting. Like, you're just trying to get through the play, and when they, in Casey, to your point, like when they argue every play or they have the ability to argue every play, it just it drags it on.
Yeah, and what happened a couple of years ago in the playoffs with the Saints and the Rams, where there was an egregious pass interference call that it could have, and that's the thing.
It should have.
No, it could have. I shouldn't say would have.
Okay.
But it could have ended up with a New Orleans touchdown, and they would have won the game and moved on into the playoffs, and they didn't as a result.
All right.
And so the very next year, that's when they started to allow the coaches to throw the red flag, to call pass interference calls, or to contest a pass interference call.
And
then that didn't go the way they wanted, and that lasted for one season, and they realized it's a bad idea, so they yanked that off the table.
Help us, Sky Judge.
I'm going to go to Bill here. He's got a comment on the numbers. Hi, Bill. You're on the air. Good morning.
Picnic Romdug.
Yeah.
What was that?
Good morning is backwards.
That's
well
excellent.
done.
Say it again.
I love that game.
Say it one more time.
Tignig Romdu.
Tignig Romdu. I love it. All right. What's up, Bill?
The offensive linemen have to wear a certain number so you can identify the eligible receivers. And so they can't move them in without them having to report separately. So that was the main reason the offensive linemen had to have the numbers that they have.
Does that make sense to you, Case?
No, it does, because if you have X amount of linemen or people on the line, the tackle can be an eligible receiver, and they have to call that. So I would imagine it's just easier for the defense to recognize numbers.
What if you wear a disguise, though?
Thanks, Bill.
But they'll announce it. They'll say, okay, so and so is reporting as an eligible receiver on this play, and so that hurts the defense.
Yeah, I am not anywhere near up to snuff on the minutia of the rules.
I will say this for our team: the fact that Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert were 86 and 88, those numbers look identical. Just the design, the font, identical. The font on the jerseys. I'm like, I don't know who that is. Like, I don't know who just caught it. And
yeah, that's got to be confusing.
Yeah. Did 88 catch it? Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Positive.
All right. I did notice another thing that is.
From the noticer, he keeps noticing things that he admits probably should have been in the junk drawer, but we just did that.
Yeah, that's true. I noticed that Prince Philip is dead.
Yes, he is.
Or
is he?
Throughout his decades in public life, he was known for putting his royal foot in his mouth with occasional off-the-cuff remarks that could be embarrassing. But his faux pas at a White House dinner with President Richard Nixon in 1969 was enough for Philip to actually lose some sleep over it.
Your wife, Patricia, has some tiggled bitties.
What?
That's not, what did you say?
Yeah, that's right.
I said she had some tiggled bitties.
And Dick didn't like that very much. In a handwritten note to the president uncovered by archivists at the Richard Nixon Presidential Library and Museum in Yorba Linda, California.
Have you tried oral sex? It might take some time to get it down pat.
The Duke of Edinburgh wrote to humbly apologize for failing to toast the president's health.
Yeah.
As dictated by protocol during a, quote, stag dinner in his honor.
Like a... Okay.
Well, it was all guys. No, it was just all guys at the party. So,
when does the strippers arrive?
Here's what he wrote to Nixon from Greenland on November 7th after his solo U.S. trip. He had concluded. He wrote, "After the brilliance of the other speakers and yourself, I am afraid my contribution was very lame." He said, "That night I woke up in a cold sweat when I realized I had forgotten to propose your health."
Oh, all right.
Jim Byron, executive vice president of the Nixon Foundation, said that the letter was discovered before the pandemic but made public this week as a way of marking Phillips' death. Known for his quick wit and willingness to be self-deprecating, Phillips' brand of cheekiness didn't always go over well. In 1995, he asked a Scottish driving instructor, "How do you keep the natives off the booze long enough to pass a test?" 7 years later in Australia, while visiting Aboriginal people with the Queen, he asked, "Do you still throw spears at each other?" While visiting a military barracks, Phillips asked a Sea Cadet instructor if she worked in a strip club, and even said to a woman who had lost 2 sons in a fire that smoke detectors were a damn nuisance. But during the White House dinners, honored guests usually offer a toast to the president's health and success. Philip wrote to Nixon that he couldn't begin to, quote, "tell you how much I appreciated your very great kindness and hospitality at the White House. I was quite overwhelmed by the guests, but delighted to meet such a distinguished company."
I really haven't prepared anything to say. Have you ever seen The Terminator? He's going to kill the guy's mother.
He mentioned having then traveled to New York, where he was interviewed by Barbara Walters for NBC's Today Show. He said the weather in New York was
You have a ghastly lisp.
Was horrible, but otherwise all went well, Philip wrote. And I found Miss Walters particularly charming and intelligent, and I hope we did a good piece, he said.
Yeah, you talk like an infant.
Byron said Nixon almost certainly replied to Phillips' letter, but with the library archives remaining closed because of the pandemic, what he might have said is unknown at this point.
President Nixon, is that your nose, or are you eating a banana?
So he felt so...
They show in the beginning of the Crown, Preston, where he was... He would joke around, but it didn't always land, you know. And so they're in Africa, and he didn't know the one guy was the king of the tribe.
Yeah.
What's that you're wearing?
Yeah,
it's a crown.
All right, let's see. I noticed something that Steve sent me this morning, and it's really cute. A video showing a little girl impersonating her mom working from home is catching on with millions of parents and LinkedIn users. Last week, Colleen Chulis of Charlottesville, Virginia, posted a clip of her daughter, Adele, who is 8, pretending to juggle phone calls, Zoom meetings, and motherhood. The video is seen more than 7 million times.
Did you guys watch it?
No. Yeah, it's so cute.
It's adorable.
What she keeps doing is, so she's at her desk, she's typing stuff out, and then she gets on a phone call, and you see her immediately looking over to the camera and snapping her fingers as if she's trying to tell the kids to be quiet.
And pointing. That's the best part.
Yeah, she'd snap her fingers and point like, go. Yeah. And she's spot on getting it right. Her mom said she's always like, record me. She's always wanting to do these little skits. She was on Good Morning America and said, I'll say we can do one quick little video, but that's exactly how this one happened. Chulis, her mother, is a regional vice president and of regulated industries for SAP SuccessFactors. She said she's been working from home since the start of the pandemic. She's got 3 kids, Adele, Luke, and Declan, and they're all attending school through hybrid learning, so they're all around while she's trying to work.
Right.
Yeah. She said, I'm on video and I work in sales, so I'm talking to customers, and I think the challenge for me is I'm presenting on PowerPoint, and the kids are like, can you get me an ice pop? And they'll pass notes under the door. It's the day-to-day stuff happens. And like clockwork, Marissa grabbed the audio, so let's play a little bit of this for you.
Hello. Hi, Jennifer. So...
Can you hear her snapping? She's snapping her fingers, telling them to get away.
Be quiet. Don't take the clothes. Yeah, sorry about that. So tonight is gonna be fun. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, the dog is very crazy. Yeah, I know what you mean. So yeah. Yeah, it's hard to multitask, you know? Yeah.
I love it. It's really cute.
Well, Kathy, when you were, for a brief period, when you were from home and you had the cats coming in and Jace.
Oh, yeah. I had the
we'd
notes.
watch it. Yeah.
The notes were being slipped under the door where he would quietly come in and put, can I watch TV? Yes or no? Circle.
Well, and that's what she said. She said that they would pass notes under the door as well while she's trying to get work done.
And then if you say no, like one was like, can I, play video games before school? And so I would circle no. And then it would be, why not? Why can't I? Why? I'm not doing anything. I did everything. And I'm like, get out.
Or the cats jumping up on the...
Well, the cats were worse than he was.
Yeah.
I think because
we saw regular appearances from the cats on the video.
Stepping on the computer, they knocked over the mic. They would scratch at the door, and then I would try to lock them out. Like it was,
And then you'd hear the doors rattling.
So those kids, there are a lot of kids that are imitating their parents. All right, I noticed this other story this morning. Has to do with prostitution.
Yes!
Manhattan District Attorney Cy Vance Jr. announced yesterday that his office will no longer prosecute prostitution. This is in Manhattan. He said in a statement
I like prostitutes.
Over the last decade, we've learned from those with lived experience and from our own experience on the ground. Criminally prosecuting prostitution does not make us safer and too often achieves the opposite result by further marginalizing vulnerable New Yorkers. However, associated crimes, and this is where I don't understand, okay? Associated crimes including patronizing sex workers, meaning paying for sex trafficking, and promoting prostitution will still be prosecuted.
So pimps can be arrested, but the actual prostitutes can't?
I guess so, but it says paying for sex.
Isn't that prostitution?
That's prostitution, right?
Does Cy Vance exactly know what all this stuff means?
No, I mean, that'd be the Johns that would get in trouble, not the prostitutes
but how
themselves.
can you...
No, I know. But, they're not going to prosecute the prostitutes. They're going to prosecute the people who are paying for the prostitutes.
So then part of that is still illegal.
Yes.
It is still illegal, but they're not going to focus. Nick's right. They're not going to focus on the workers. They're going to focus on the people who are going to hire them.
It's a step.
So only the customer is at risk.
Yeah, I mean...
Interesting. Okay. I actually, you know what? I read an interesting article on BuzzFeed yesterday, and it was confessions of kids whose mothers worked in the sex trade.
Interesting.
Wow. And I was surprised. Most of them were all like,
I'm talking to a John.
Just get out.
Most of them were appreciative of what their mother did because of the situation that they were in.
Yeah.
It's work.
And it was kind of like you'd have to be here to understand why that was the last resort for my mom, And now some of them were like, I was neglected because of this, or I remember people coming by the house in some situations that are terrible for children.
No, it can be very dangerous. There can be a lot of downsides to it, of course, there's downsides to it. Of course, but there's. You guys saw the footage of me as a prostitute, and then Richard Gere came into my life and turned my life around, made me realize I was worth something.
But I'm not saying it's a line of work you want to pursue, but I was just surprised at the people that were raised.
You do what you need to do.
These women actually had some respect for them and weren't upset and embarrassed and all that.
We could have a family reunion with my family, and you guys could meet all these people. But there's somebody in my family who did that.
Okay.
And it was. I remember when she told me, and I was like, "Are you?" I wasn't surprised, but just to hear that, to know somebody that actually did that, I couldn't.
Remember that there's all the different levels of it too. Whether you are,
escort.
I don't profess to understand.
She was
a
full
streetwalker,
on getting cash,
cars
for
pulling up,
sexual favors, walking along the street.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Not glorified.
It is very dangerous
in any way.
I guess like most situations, there's a lot of gray area, and there's not one clear cut answer. I'm sorry, Steve. I'm watching you and Pretty Woman, and I got thrown off.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yes.
I mean, did I feel good about myself? No, but
it's a video where Steve's face is on Julia Roberts' body. That's hilarious.
But at the end of the day, these women are people, and so they have rights, and it's how you protect them. And listen, it's a complicated issue.
Hey, are there Are there guy? There has to be.
Oh, sure.
Yes,
Oh,
of
my
course.
God, yes.
Gigolos, yeah.
Yes.
Don't you remember there was somebody who was in our studio who I made a joke. And he was like, "Oh, if you need for later, just let me know." And I was like, "No, just I was kidding. We joke around here."
There's a book that I read. It's a horror it's fantasy thing called
The Scary Hookers.
No, it's called The Passage. But anyway, in it, one of the main characters, they tell the story about how her mother ended up in prostitution.
Yes.
And until I read that, I didn't understand, how it can happen. So this woman's she's young. She's like 16 years old. It's just her and her father. Her mother died years earlier. All of a sudden, her dad unexpectedly dies, and they were a very low income family. And she is now turned 17. She's on her own. She, leading up to that, had unfortunately, this guy had kind of sweet talked her and told her all this stuff. She worked as a waitress. He was in and out of town. He was a traveling salesman. They hooked up. She got pregnant. The father dies. She's pregnant with this baby. She's all on her own, has a baby, can't find work because she can't have money afforded to take care of the baby while she's at work.
She can't get daycare.
All this stuff was happening, and she just found herself at the end of the rope and had to, in order to survive, had to do it. And it was, I was like, okay. So then there are some scenarios where you just don't have a choice.
Well, the judge lest ye be judged, and you cannot know. And then that's something to consider. I think it's interesting, though.
I don't know. I understand what you guys are saying, but I don't understand it in any way whatsoever. I don't think.
I'm glad I'm in a position in life where I find it hard.
Yeah, but even if you're not, there are other ways that you can make some money than to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Maybe not always. But, anyhow, nonetheless, in Manhattan, they're going to make this change. And they said that Vance's office had already been dismissing prostitution cases after sending those charged to mandatory counseling sessions.
By the way, the Johns won't be prosecuted if they're high-priced politicians.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
So that or top-level lawyers, they won't get charged. So
or football team
owners,
right,
or any of the they're exempt from the law.
Yesterday's statement said such counseling sessions will be voluntary. And despite the change, it doesn't go far enough for some, though. Attorney Abigail Swinstein praised Vance's action, but favors to push by some to, quote, fully decriminalize sex work. So interesting. All right. With that, we got to take a break because we have guests that are on the way. When we return, we're going to talk to Dean Norris. You remember him from Breaking Bad, and he is on United States of Al. He'll be up. And then after that, Brad Furman, director of this movie, City of Lights, who, by the way, is from the area.
Yes.
And grew up listening to our show. So we'll be back with those guests and more. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
they're younger than me, obviously, because they're my kids in the show. And they're all veterans of sitcoms, kind of hip sitcoms in the past. But I have not worked with any of them. But we all, amazingly, we really, really, really get along well. It's a fun cast, which helps with the comedy because, if you like people, it makes it easier to have fun with them and make laughs. And we all really love each other. So
Then I have a follow-up question for this concerning Breaking Bad. When you are playing in a hard drama like that, and you have characters that are opposing each other, that have contradictions or have beef with each other, do you, on a personal level, try to distance yourself from the people that you're going to have confrontation with on the set to kind of, live that out on screen?
Yeah, I punch everybody.
All right, good. You're a method guy.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
just to set shit straight.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, Dean, I wanted to ask you about how you approach your roles and when you take your script, because and I've watched Breaking Bad. I'm on my 4th go around now because I started watching with my son and he's on his 3rd go around now. And
wow, nice.
He loves you, by the way. I had to tell him that we were Zooming with you today. But like your character, and I want to ask about this with all the characters you've ever played. You even had these little subtle just in the middle of your dialogue, and I want to know how you do you approach your script, and do you write those in, or are those just sort of impromptu? I'm talking about all of the little
affectations.
Yeah, affectations that your character has.
Yeah, I think that's just from figuring out who the guy is and trying to be him, and then you try to make the lines your own as that character. So I don't know specific which ones, but yeah, I think you take. You have the opportunity to take a written line and make it your own, your character. And certainly that's allowed and encouraged. And that's what I try to do. Figure out how Hank would say that,
Okay, yeah. And I wanted to let you guys know, because we have to wrap this up, Dean and I have something in common.
What?
We both went to Harvard. I went there twice. I bought a sweatshirt and everything. But not only did he go to Harvard, but he was a valedictorian of his high school. Did you guys know that?
No.
Yeah. We're talking to a real dude, smart dude here now.
Right.
Yeah.
Casey just went there to buy a shirt. Dean,
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
But he technically went to Harvard.
I went to Harvard.
So therefore,
twice.
you guys have something in common. Nice. All right. Well, listen, Dean, we appreciate it. We're big fans, and we wish you tremendous success with the United States of Al. For those who want to see it, it's on tonight, 8:30 on CBS. So thanks for joining us, Dean.
Hey, thanks so much, you guys. Have a great morning.
Anytime. Dean Norris, guys. He's great, man. He's excellent. Were we off air when I mentioned how much? Yeah, I think we were. When and I don't want to ruin Breaking Bad for you, but it's been on long enough. But when his character, his final scene,
right,
there is just a level of defiance in him that speaks to his character that he's just. He doesn't care. He knows it's going to be the end for him, and he says what he wants to say.
Right.
And it's just like, wow,
I've seen that clip.
Man,
yeah, it's
powerful.
Very cool.
Yeah,
he was also in a show that I wish I'd have continued.
Under the Dome.
Under the Dome.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. And I didn't. I read the book, and I wanted to go back and watch it, but I don't want to now because they didn't finish it.
Yeah, Yeah, and that's gotta suck when you get a head of steam up on something, and it just becomes inert.
You finished that book?
I did.
Man, I couldn't.
I was listening to the audiobook that might have made it a little easier.
Maybe I should have done that.
But it's long.
Yeah.
And I wasn't fully satisfied with how it wrapped up.
No kidding, okay.
But it was still, it was an interesting character study.
And great premise.
Yeah.
Did you see the new app, or I don't know if it's whatever it is, but you take your phone and you take pictures of the pages of text in a book, and you can take like a chapter at a time. Just take picture, and then listen to whatever, even if a book doesn't have an audible audio component.
Read it for you?
Yeah.
You know who that's good for, Steve? Is people with dyslexia.
Yes.
And people that have trouble reading. If that book is not available via an audiobook, it's a great way to be able to, quote unquote, read a book.
I have been listening to a book that Preston had recommended, and I have found that I have the audio version of dyslexia because I will just completely space out. And
Well, then read it while it's being read to you.
I can. I'm driving.
Oh.
I do the same thing too.
It made me feel better.
Yeah, I have to. I'll start to something in the narrative will make me think about something in my personal life, and then I'll start focusing on that. And the next thing you know, 30 seconds later, I'm like, wait a minute, I've lost track of what's going on. So I just I back it up, and I end up doing that a few times while I'm.
Do you know, so when you listen to what you really love, and then you get distracted, you get into an accident, the jaws are letting you out of the car, and you're like, no, I'm
almost at the
what
end of the
chapter was I on?
Yeah. So. But I love listening to audiobooks. I read, I think I read 17 books last year.
My God.
Which before that, I was like 3 or 4 a year tops. So I've been managed to take all that in, and I see it as entertainment. That's what it is.
I held out, as I said many times before. No, it's not really reading. And then I was really realizing I'm missing books that I wanted to get to so badly.
Yeah, that's the way I see it too, Steve.
So that's
and I've stopped saying I'm listening to an audiobook. I just say I read that book. It's a shorter answer, and it's true.
I read the title of that book when I ordered it on the home.
Right. Well, I mean, I used to watch the movie, and I read that book.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right, question. Casey, do you want me to stretch until we get to our next guest?
Well, we can. We have a little bit of time. So
Okay.
We can do that if you want.
There we go.
God, that was
Give
a
it-
good joke.
Is this
Give
the
us a
morning
minute.
wake out? Who used to do that the dumb
stretch
thing?
I don't know.
It's a radio.
Did we know somebody who did
There was
that?
somebody had a syndicated show that, and a lot of stations would pop it on where it's all right, ladies, time for the 10 o'clock stretch.
I do like a good stretch. Kathy's stretching right now.
There
Just
you
at the
go.
mere suggestion of that.
That's it. It's like yawning.
She leaned way back. All right. So, yeah, I do have a couple of things.
All right.
This is happening now. The annual Lyrid meteor shower is active now. It's active until the 30th. But apparently peak time is like tonight.
Well,
okay.
With this high pressure, and I mean, even though it's cold out, this would be good stargazing.
Yeah, I don't know if the clouds are going to cooperate or not, but it produces about 15 to 20 meteors per hour.
With about 100 collisions every half hour, right?
And this year, skywatchers in the northern hemisphere can expect to see about 18 per hour, weather permitting, during the shower.
Yeah,
I'm going to take a look.
What's that case?
No, I was going to say, I'm looking at the cloud coverage for tonight, and from 9 o'clock on, it's like 72%, 54% cloud coverage.
All right, so that's problematic.
Yeah.
But it becomes visible beginning at about 10 o'clock in the evening, I think. And then, but the peak viewing time is before dawn.
I'm watching Hogan's Heroes at that time.
We could easily do. You're watching Hogan's Heroes?
Well, that's 1% cloud coverage around between 3 and 7 a.m. So.
Okay, there you go. And it is, of course, the visibility is best for skywatchers in areas that are far away from sources of light and buildings or other possible obstructions. And this year, the waxing gibbous moon.
The gibbous moon.
Which is the phase at which more than half of the moon's surface is illuminated, may also interfere with observation.
That's like the Givens moon.
Is that what you were going for, Case?
That's, yes, as a matter of fact.
The gibbous moon, yeah. What's the name of that song?
Bubblin' Brown Sugar?
Bubblin' Brown Sugar.
Yeah, the Gibbons kids.
It's
the Gibbons kids.
Gibbons kids.
Right, and it's the Gibbons moon, right?
So gibbous moon.
Gibbous moon.
And
like Jeebus.
So the baby Jeebus. The best way to find the meteor's radiant or point at which they appear to originate from is to lie flat on your back with your feet facing east and look up. And after about 30 minutes in the dark, your eyes will adapt.
Somebody will call the police.
And you will begin to see meteors.
There's a dead body in the field.
Yeah. So, Kathy, you wouldn't last on that, would you? Got to lay there for about
She's going to be
30
at a
minutes
wedding
and wait.
tonight, Preston.
This is boring. I'm going inside.
Yeah.
It is an outdoor wedding. Maybe you'll have a chance to actually look up when you're
Wouldn't that be
leaving or
great?
whatever.
At the point at which they kiss, when they finally kiss as man and wife, the sky will explode in a meteor shower.
And we'll be freezing to death.
Yeah, it's going to be cold.
hate this.
This is stupid.
This is so stupid.
I don't even like these people.
No, I like most of them.
I will let each one know as they comes in who I like and who I do not.
Kath, where is the wedding?
It's in Doylestown.
Oh man, so that's prime.
It is actually good too.
Area, yeah.
What was the name of the mansion you said it's going to be at?
Aldi Mansion?
The Aldi Mansion?
Which is the supermarket.
The grocery store chain? I don't know. Is that right in Doylestown proper, like downtown Doylestown, or?
No, I don't think any of the mansions are right there.
Wow, that's
in
pretty.
downtown
We're looking at a
Doylestown. I don't
picture
think
of it.
so.
That's
It's
cool.
gorgeous.
Yeah. So the Lyrids aren't as spectacular as the Perseids.
They stink.
The Perseids.
Perseids.
They stink.
That's right, it stinks.
Which returned in August.
The most cantankerous astronomer in the world.
But
I thought it stunk. Perseids, constellations, and it stinks.
But with the first recorded sighting of the Lyrids,
looking up at the sky trying to see stalagmites,
going all the way back to 687 BC.
Aren't those in caves?
I don't know.
Actually,
so I can't see any.
Yes, stalagmite showers and commodores.
Stalactites are on the ceiling.
Look at the commodores tonight.
The Commodores?
Yeah.
Like easy, like Sunday
Lionel
morning.
Richie,
Yeah, okay. Commodore.
Everything looks so far away. Oh, let me turn it around.
So anyway, wow, that was quick.
I love this song.
It was a great song.
Yeah. It's about astronomy. Easy like Sunday morning, meteor showers.
By the way, the Lyrids goes all the way back to the first recorded sightings to 687 BC.
On another note,
it's
we
the
should
oldest
dress like
known
the
meteor shower. What's that?
On another note, we should dress like the Commodores. So that is the first meteor shower historically that was chronicled.
Oldest recorded sighting. Yes.
Wow.
687 BC.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's before Christ.
Yeah.
Is that what BC actually stands for?
Does, yeah.
Okay. Then what is D?
Be cool.
AD is an Anno Domini. Why one in English and why one in Latin?
To be difficult.
Yeah. What's up with that?
Yeah. It's like the numbers that you use for the defensive line.
Anno Domini. I mispronounced that. Which is used to label or number years in the Julian or Gregorian calendars.
So Anno Domini Nostri Jesu Christo.
Dominus sanctus praetos cato, merotus adesot crucifixus.
Hank Norris.
It stinks.
Dean Norris. What?
That's right. It stinks.
It stinks. You would know.
That's right, it stinks.
Taken from the full original phrase, as Nick had said, Anno Domini Nostri Jesu Christi.
I would love to learn some ancient tongues.
Would you?
Oh, my son next year. My son next year is required to take Latin.
Yeah,
it is absolutely positive.
I'd love to learn. Latin has a lot of roots to
Yeah, the only time that comes in handy is if you're in a spelling bee.
Well, they say if you learn Latin, you're going to waste a lot of time.
They don't say that. Don't they say that?
That's what they say.
That, yeah.
If you take the time to really commit to Latin, you will have wasted your time.
My older brother took it in high school, and I used to help him study for his tests. I don't remember anything.
Well, your brother's a scientist, and that might come into play as well when it comes to a lot of things in science are taken from from Latin. So maybe that, I don't know if that helps.
Carpus pubis debus.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a building block language, you know. We wouldn't have English without Latin.
On the bus. I missed the bus. You guys remember that one?
No, what was that from?
That was from Johnny Dangerously. It's like the only line I remember when he's being escorted out. I believe he's being put to death. Is he not?
He never gets put to death, but he's being he's being brought down towards the electric chair.
Fargan Ice Holes?
I remember that. I remember that.
You ice horse.
All right. This is completely unrelated to that altogether, but I want to make sure it doesn't get away from me. But this is according to Newsweek. The 25 most popular beach towns in the country. One of them is in New Jersey.
Oh, just one?
Yeah, I know, and I'm surprised.
That is surprising because, last night the Goldbergs had a beach house, Jersey Shore beach episode, Preston.
Do you know where town it was in?
Do you remember, Nick? You watched it.
It's fictional. They referenced Margate, and then they mispronounced Ventnor. They said Ventnor. But they actually did not say the name of the town, I think deliberately, but they clearly filmed it in California.
Yeah. Well, the Malibu cliffside.
Yes.
So they've deemed Asbury Park
Oh, wow.
as one of the 25 most popular beach towns.
Oh, most popular. Okay. Yes, I would agree with
It's
that.
my favorite beach.
You guys ever been there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been. What's
Yeah, I mean,
It's very popular. It's crowded and there's
Yeah.
tons of people.
Okay.
That's right, it stinks!
I think we all have a bit of a preconceived notion about people from North Jersey, Long Island, New York that go to the Jersey Shore.
Right.
I'm sure that they have a preconceived notion about us.
Sure.
I don't like them. and
they don't like us,
They don't
probably.
like us.
Yeah.
And a lot of them go to Asbury Park, Seaside Heights, that kind of thing, yeah.
I got you. So,
And I'm sorry. Just putting that out.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, if I offended you.
But they put it alongside such towns as Narragansett in Rhode Island, Ocean City in Maryland, and Haleiwa in Hawaii.
What, man, when Hawaii and Jersey end up in the same list?
But it's not, that's the thing. It's the most popular. It's where people are going. It's not
Right.
like
Not
the
the
most
best.
beautifall,
Okay.
the best one to take your family or all that.
All right, I got
so
you.
could this be then the most overcrowded beach towns in
It might
America,
be. Yeah.
maybe? Yeah.
Because I know that for a fact they listed the world's top 10 beaches, and I think 2 or 3 of them are in Bermuda.
Yeah, beaches, that makes sense. Yeah.
Right.
Ocean City, Maryland is crowded. It's a city, you know, and I don't dislike it, but it's packed.
There are high rises all along the beach.
Yep.
There are parts of Long Island down along, as you get, Kathy, as you know, you get closer to Coney Island and that part of the of Nassau County. No, it's not technically, but I mean, yeah, that's where you start to get the high rises, the apartment buildings, and it gets a little more congested.
Now tell me if this is BS, Kathy, from this description. It says the famous Jersey Shore. This is Newsweek. They wrote this.
The famous Jersey
Shore is lined with sandy beaches and quiet towns, such as the small seaside community of Asbury Park.
Quiet?
Yeah, that's what it says.
I mean, not when I was there.
It says, but there is more to the town than its Instagrammable beachside, as Asbury Park also boasts a vibrant art and music scene and an assortment of independent boutique shops.
They do. They have like a huge, I forget what it's called, but it's like a huge festival where it's all different kinds of arts and, you know, people come out and it's a huge weekend-long event.
So we're looking at it right now. At least I don't know if this is an archival photo, but it looks fairly crowded.
Looks packed.
I think Marissa probably knows about Asbury Park. She's been there a bunch. I think her brother lived up that way for a little while.
He did. He actually was part of a group of people who kind of revitalized it. Maybe was that 5 or 6 years ago? So when I lived in Manayunk, that's all I remember. But they totally redid the boardwalk. It's now full of like boutiques and cute shops, and not like the Ocean City boardwalk we know with like Chickies and Beats Fries and like t-shirt shops. And like you said, they have tons of festivals. I don't know if they changed the convention center or if it is still open or not, but that's where I saw Bruce do like a practice show.
Wow.
For his last tour.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows there.
Yeah, and then they have the Stone Pony is there, and whatever that famous face is that's like synonymous with Asbury Park. You guys know that like cartoony face?
Yeah, the Asbury Park face.
The Asbury Park face?
I don't know.
Hold on.
I'd have to see it.
It has
I'm
a
sorry.
name. I don't know what it is. It's like
face.
That thing looks scary.
It looks like Alfred E. Newman with better teeth.
Thing. Yeah.
But I would compare it. Okay, I would compare it to like Stone Harbor.
Okay. Really?
Really?
Yeah, it's got like I mean it's like Stone Harbor, but they have like more bars and restaurants.
Stone Harbor meets Wildwood.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Just combine them.
Interesting. All right. Thanks, Marissa. Here's a text that are coming in. One says Asbury Park is super hipster now.
Oh, is it?
Somebody says the Boardwalk and Convention Center, that where Bruce Springsteen plays, Stone Pony, better beaches than there are better beaches in Asbury Park. And somebody says, you guys sound ignorant talking about Asbury. Well, Marissa's the only one that's really spent time there.
Yeah.
That's why.
I don't know a lot about the coast of Antarctica.
I was there once.
And somebody said that they call people from the north that come down Benny's.
I
Is that
saw
what
that.
it
Here we
said?
go. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the derivation of Benny's?
I don't know. It says, Nick, if you live in New Jersey, the northerners that come to the shore are called Benny's.
I think is
Ben
that
Franklin Bridge, or no? That wouldn't make sense. Would it?
Maybe why not? Or is it like the Shoebies? Because that's what they call us at the Jersey Shore.
Right. So there may be some derivation from that, but I don't know where it came from.
There are some people who take the Shuby thing tongue in cheek and you know laugh about it and are fine with it. There are some people who legitimately don't like it when other people come to their beach town, and
they get
very protective.
We felt the wrath over the years of doing the Geenans.
It's a funny dynamic because I mean, you know, most of the people that are coming down are down there to be there for the same reasons everybody else is there, to enjoy the shore, to be close to the beach, and also to help local economy.
Wait a minute. Okay, hang on a second here. This says, the text says, for your information, us Jersey folks we prefer you, PA, and New York folks go to your own beaches. Okay. We don't have any beaches in Pennsylvania.
Well, then why don't you root for your own sports teams?
Says we don't care if you have a house there. Keep your tents in your cars, too. Tents and canopies don't belong on beaches, okay?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're talking
Well,
about.
I like to swim along the Delaware.
Listen, it's part and parcel of living in a quote-unquote like resort town. I mean,
It is.
The economy, a large part of the economy is driven by tourism.
Yeah. And that's it.
And it's got to
dies.
suck. And listen, when we last visit to Hawaii, we went and we did a zip line tour, and the guy that was our guide, you could tell he was just so sick and tired of tourists that he was nice enough, but his really not caring about you at all attitude, I could see right through it.
Was he a local?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, they're all local, and I was just like, I felt like going, do you really hate what you do? Because I can tell.
Yeah.
And it's got to be, but then again, I was trying to think of myself in that position too. It's got to be a double-edged sword where you rely on outsiders to bring in, to bolster the economy. But you see them filter through so much that it's just like they're not even human to you, after a while. I don't know.
So I have a lot of friends that are full-time, live at the Jersey Shore, including family members, and the majority, actually all of them, all of the people that I know will tell you that they absolutely love when Memorial Day comes and the crowd comes. They like when that, they'll jokingly use the word, the term shooby or whatever, but they use it lovingly. It's not something that they look down upon.
They love the influx. They love the excitement. I'm sure it's got to be a bit of a hassle when roads that you were using
but it's all part of living there, and that's what they understand. But then they are also forward to Labor Day when everybody, the majority of the crowd, goes home. That
party's over.
It's their life. That's
get out.
So it's not like they hate summer because all these people are coming down. No, it's part of their life. It's part of their world. Yeah. It's just that they look forward to it on both ends.
Peter wants to explain Benny to us, and then we got a number of text too, but I want to get it from Peter. Hi, Peter. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning. This goes back, a couple of generations at least. Benny's is the North Jersey term for people the influx of people from Brooklyn and the Bronx, hence the B's, and into the Jersey Shore. So that's my understanding, is that's where it has come from.
All right, got it. Thank you, Peter. By the way, so it breaks down like this, according to this text. Benny equals Bergen, Essex, Newark, New York.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Okay. So then you have, the New York is the NY at the end there. They're BENNY.
Oh, okay.
So
yes, the Urban Dictionary explained it exactly that, and it is similar to the term shooby, but that's for South Jersey.
Okay, I got you. Are we good to go in our
We are
interview?
good to go.
All right, so anyhow, Asbury Park fell in that category, but, I don't know that part. I know that Cape May is gorgeous, and there's some spots. There's spots down, in the south part of Jersey that are just stunning as well. So, all right, what are we doing here?
Zooming?
Are we zooming, or are we going? There's a call on the hotline. What
we're
am I
going to
doing?
zoom.
We're zooming. Okay,
we are.
I was a little confused. All right, City of Lies, the movie is available now. Prime Video, Fandango as well. It stars Johnny Depp, Forrest Whitaker. And we're excited because the director is from the area. Nick, where does he hail from?
Lafayette Hill.
Lafayette Hill.
How about that?
That's beautiful. You live not too far from there, Steve, right?
Chestnut
Hill, Lafayette Hill,
yes.
that area?
I'm there right now, yeah.
All right, please welcome to the program Mr. Brad Furman. Hey! Brad, good morning, sir.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Whoa.
We're getting a little feedback here, Brad. I don't know if you can hear it too or not, but I said absolutely about 100 times, and now everything is repeating.
Oh, no.
I don't know why
that was terrible.
It was cool, though.
Check.
Holy moly.
There we go.
Yay.
All right. We're better. Sorry, Brad.
Dude, could you hear that?
That was an audio acid trip for just a moment. But you didn't hear that.
For me. I'll take it.
Nice. So, Brad, well, listen, by the way, I mentioned, your roots in the area. When tell Tell us about your growing up here in Philadelphia and when you left and went on to be an unbelievable, successful director.
That's very kind of you. Very proud to be born and raised from Philly, out in Lafayette Hill. Went to Penn Charter when I was little, and then I transferred over to Friends Central on the main line. I guess I was a bad kid, so my parents sent me to private school. That was a story I was told. I never thought I was that bad.
Could have been that bad.
Fell in love with basketball, but there were limitations about me going to make a career at it. Saw my parents work really hard as attorneys in Center City. So I also lost my cousin, Michael Furman, who was actually on air on Power 99 around midnight. So as a result of that, I looked at life and I said, what can I do in my life that actually I would value and appreciate and have fun doing? And filmmaking became it.
And did you end up in NYU?
Actually, funny, I went to Emory to play basketball my freshman year, ended up getting hurt, ended up transferring to NYU, actually. So good question. To actually end up play basketball, but film school was really why I went.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Their film school is legendary.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Brad, my friend Jen Johnson, I went to her sinus with her. She went to high school with you, and she said that you had an awesome purple hot rod that you used to drive in high school. Is that true?
Those were, I think those were some embarrassing times in Philadelphia when you try to figure out who you were. And I had a unique car. Let's leave it at that.
What was it? Don't leave it at that. What was it?
We'll put it very far in my past.
Purple hot rod.
Well, you got to figure this is early 90s.
Yeah, we're gonna have to check that one out. I wanted to ask you about the genesis of City of Lies, because what I understand, the movie was completed in 2016, but because of maybe like licensing issues or something, it has been on the shelf for a while. Can you explain what the stall was at the initial time you completed the film?
Anything and everything you could imagine happened to this film. Even when I started to make it, friends of friends of friends from the streets hit me and were like, you can't make this film. You don't know the streets. The flip side of that was friends from the Los Angeles Police Department, who I had played basketball with for years in Los Angeles, had said to me, like, you don't understand the power of the city and how high up this goes. Even larger than that, some people as well from the sheriff's office. So I was getting it from every end. So when we were actually coming out, our distributor distributed the movie Spotlight.
Right.
I felt pretty sound. We were moving in the right direction. And then pretty much and pretty quickly, everything fell apart. They were financially losing. The company that bought them went bankrupt. We were stuck in a bankruptcy, which was part of the financial problems. But I just saw from a bigger perspective on what I was dealing with before and after the film that, this was a really tricky, complicated film, because it's the film that, police departments and the LAPD really don't want you to see.
All right, well, Brad, for those who may not be familiar, let's bring them up to speed on why this sensitive nature of this film. Tell us about the subject matter.
Johnny Depp stars as Russell Poole. Russell Poole was the lead detective in the Christopher Wallace, a.k.a. Biggie Smalls murder. And Forrest Whitaker plays Jack Johnson, the journalist, who is quasi-investigating the case prior to this friendship that he makes with Johnny Depp's character. And essentially we do a deep dive into the case. It's based off the book by Randall Sullivan, Labyrinth, and I didn't want to just take the book and make it, so I did a full-blown reinvestigation into the case with Sergio Robledo, who was the lead detective. He was also Russ Poole's supervisor, but he was the lead detective on the Wallace civil case while at the LAPD. So I took the book, I did a reinvestigation with them. Sergio sadly passed away, and it was a dream to work with him. But I saw redacted files. I did a deep dive into the depositions. I saw everything under the sun, and it's quite an expose and was mind-blowing, and I felt the responsibility. There was a story that had to be told.
Brad, this is Nick. I watched the movie yesterday. I loved it. I thought it was really well done, and I was not very familiar with a lot of the details behind the murder of Biggie, and it followed the murder of Tupac, and both of those remain unsolved. When watching a movie like this, I'm always a little conflicted because it has a bit of a feel of a documentary, but it's also a feature film. Some of it has been fictionalized, or it becomes part of storytelling. So I know that you did the deep dive and did a lot of research on it, but it's also not a documentary. Can you talk about how much of it is true, how much of it is portrayed accurately?
Thank you for the kind words. I've always felt this film is bigger than me with regards to the messaging, what's going on in the world today. I think the reality of that was Christopher Wallace, Biggie, I like to refer to him as his name, was a human being. The iconography of this, Tupac Shakur in particular, also a piece of his life and story is in the film as well, and the connective tissue with Biggie. These are artists and musicians that tremendously impacted me through my life. So I had no interest in exploiting them, exploiting their murders. So I reached out to Miss Wallace, and I told her up front I wouldn't make the movie without her blessing, and hand in hand with them. They produced the movie, Wayne Barrow, Big's former manager. And because when we live in movie land, we don't think about, the death of a human being. We just look at them as, these icons, you don't realize Jimmy Dean was alive or any of these kind of things. So I thought it was really important for the gravitas of the film to root it in the actual footage. So when you see Big, I try to create the impression of him rather than just make it about an actor playing him where nobody could personify him or Pac. So I used the real imagery, the real video, the real audio. Also, they gave me the acapellas, and we made music and wove his voice into the score. And I was part of producing that, which I was incredibly proud of because I was actually working with Big's vocals, which was incredible. But all of this was done exactly in line with what you're saying. And again, thank you for the kind words. It was to humanize Christopher, have you understand that he's a real person, have you understand that he's a father to kids and a son, understand that he's a son to a mother, and that's all in the DNA of the film. So it is a balance of those things, but it's also a movie.
So obviously it's the classic phrase, a labor of love here for you, and the story is one that's definitely, it's become culture and pop culture lore and legend, and but on a basic filmmaking level, you have Johnny Depp in the film, and I got to watch a bit of it last night. I want to complete it, and it was definitely engaged. The performances by Johnny Depp and Forrest Whitaker, and I think their exchanges through the film and their relationship is really at the heart and soul of everything. But the how did you get Johnny Depp on board with this? And A and B, he appears much older, but it doesn't appear as if he's using any prosthetic. I mean, how did you get him to look as old and paunchy and old ex-detective-y as you did in the film?
Usually, as a filmmaker and director, you never really get your first choice. And because it was a detective, because I was also in love with Johnny's work and Donnie Brasco, and I knew he was older now, I wanted to do something fresh, original, different. Johnny has he told me in our first meeting he has an allergy to formula. Yeah. So as a result, what a great approach to playing the quote unquote straight detective of Russ Poole. So I actually got really lucky with timing and a lot of things. And I got a meeting with him. Usually those meetings last an hour. My first meeting was 9.5 hours in his office, which is a super cool office. And I was sitting on the floor playing music for him, anything from classic rock to, R&B and hip hop. And we were just sharing and really hit it off. And it was funny. It's funny you pointed to that because I had noticed in Black Mass, which I enjoyed the film, but I felt his eyes, the prosthetics they used and some of the makeup at times were very distracting to me. And even though his performance was excellent, I could see the makeup. I could see sort of the veneer of the filmmaking elements, which for me, I'm sensitive to facial hair that looks fake in a movie or all these kind of things. So I think with actors, our relationship as director to actor is about trust. So in an effort to build that trust, what I tried to do was, basically just call them out on whatever BS there is and shoot straight with them. So I said to him straight, I was like, hey, man, you were brilliant in Black Mass, but let me be honest with you, the prosthetics, for me, I don't think they're going to work. We can't make this raw, hard-hitting movie if that's what we're doing with the makeup. I want to go old school makeup, super classic. So we aged him between the two periods that are intercut, as you were referencing. Right. And he was down for it. He was really, really, Johnny's a gem, man. He's an amazing guy, and he was super humble. And it was a dream to work with him and have him become a friend. And his first love's music. So, this movie hit home for him. He was a fan of Biggie as well.
When telling the story of the murder of Biggie, of Christopher, you have to dive into gang relations in Los Angeles. You also spend time with Death Row Records and Suge Knight. And I'm curious as to what your thoughts are about Suge now, and if you heard anything from Death Row or from that camp in the process of making this movie.
I have a very dear friend of about 20 years now from Watts, and we were traveling into a particular club in Los Angeles, and moments after And my friend's very, very famous. And moments after, Suge got in line, and my friend was like, "Oh, that's it. We got to go." And I was like, at the time, you know, this is 15 years ago or so. I had just gotten to LA, and I didn't really understand. And then later, he just said, "Look, that's a place you don't want to be when that guy's there."
Wow.
And that sort of just laid the groundwork for me of the mystique of Suge Knight and these things. And most people who have known him or came up with him always said he's a teddy bear. But I think it's a little bit of like the man behind the man behind the man kind of thing.
Right.
And it's not something I ever wanted to touch. So, you know, I think his relationship with the Los Angeles Police Department was special, if you could say it that way. And the facts are really all there with respect to the story as we lay it out in the movie.
But you say at least I was reading an interview where you said you don't believe he was responsible for the hit on Tupac Shakur, that you don't believe he was involved, or at least unless I misread that.
No, the Pac murder is really, really, it's more look, the Biggie murder is beyond complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, even just getting it in a movie was unfathomably challenging for me. The Pac murder was tricky. There was an instance in our movie where we were also going to do a recreation of the Pac murder. So I actually, we got the actual car, and my car guys built it. And with the rims to the detail, I mean, it's unbelievable when you make these movies, the level of detail and things you're recreating and recrafting. And out of everything with respect to the Pac murder, since I drove that car for like 4 weeks around LA, every time you're sitting in the car, the interior of the car is so small.
Yeah.
And even though Suge had claimed he got hit, all of the due diligence I had done said that, you know, he didn't. And I think the reality is it just would have been, in my opinion, near to impossible to create this hit on Pac and not have him take any bullets. That was my issue of what I was trying to represent in the interview. And I'm saying here again, the facts of that, it's the one piece that just doesn't fit for me and make sense. Like, I think he would have definitively there's just no way you're planning a murder sitting next to somebody in a car that small, period, or any car. So that's just, you know,
that's your take. Yeah.
Brad, you talked about going through all the depositions and the redacted files and all that stuff. While you were doing your extensive research, was there some part in your head that maybe in the back there going, oh, maybe I'll crack this case? Maybe I'll actually see something, you know?
Well, the crazy thing was when I saw the depositions and the redacted files, which is not public, you know, it's not available to the public, I was mind blown. And sadly, Sergio had passed away, Sergio Robledo, who brought them to me. I felt, and I do feel, we did solve the case, to be frank. You know, it's actually an interesting thing. Jess First, who I made the movie with, who went to Penn, and you know, she's been my partner for the last 2 movies I did. We have a card at the end of the movie that exclaims sort of just like that the murders of Biggie and Pac are unsolved. And we were like recently looking at the movie like, well, are people just so literal they're not going to understand that in actuality that's just legally what's going on? It's not actually the facts of where, you know, we feel we brought the case. But all the pieces are really there. We just put them together and did a much deeper dive than Randall had done 12 years prior. But yeah, I feel like we did solve it.
Wow.
I want to pay you a compliment. There's a scene with Johnny Depp and an actor named Toby Huss. He plays another one of the detectives on the case, and they recreate the hit on what happened that night when Biggie was murdered. And the cinematography involved in these models that were created is fascinating and really well done and very compelling. And so I don't know how you pulled all that together, but I felt like I was just watching a really intricately put together and a very impressive scene that helped me to understand what happened that night.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, it definitely my brainchild from the perspective of, I think, having been a fan, I still see myself as like a regular kid from Philadelphia. I just learned and had the craft years and years of making movies. They don't tell you when you start something in life that after you do it year after year after year, you learn and you get into your prime. I like to think like, for me, in my mind, my best movies are ahead of me, and I've learned so much. But on this subject matter in particular, I did really try to dive in as an audience member, saying, like, how would I want to see this? What do I need to know? What do I not need to know? So there's definitely a level of filmmaking. I think my biggest concern for me, because that scene marries to the scene where Big's going to the car and earlier in the movie, and Miss Wallace with the Clock of Time poem, Clock of Life, narrates it. I just feel like most reenactments we see are cheesy, they're corny, like all that kind of stuff never lands right. Typically, as I discussed earlier, you have actors playing these people that they can never embody and we know aren't them. So that's a big odd thing. So I try to just keep things really grounded, raw, and honest. And I went back to the Peterson. I shot exactly where it all happened. We shot actual video footage from the angle that we had the video footage, and I matched it and made sure it was perfect. I had all the police investigative reports. So when it looks like there's only a little amount of people on the street there, at that time, that's all that was on the street at that time. Like everything I tried to do had to be accurate to the T. I didn't want to mess with the police files, and then I cross-checked the police files from the other like you get eyewitness accounts. So it was a credible deep dive.
It's got to be wild because years ago, we're talking years ago, you make this movie. And you lived in the world. You were completely consumed by it. It's obviously something that's near and dear to you. And here you are that it's finally getting out. And yet, since that time, I don't know when you made the Infiltrator. I assume, was it concurrent to the time you were making this film as well, City of Lies?
I made Infiltrator, and then I rolled right into City of Lies. And then, I got City of Lies done, I mean, for all intents and purposes, considering the complexity of the film, pretty quickly. And then, it was like the knockout punch. You get hit pretty hard.
So right now, obviously, you're pushing this out. What is coming up in your film roster? What are you working on next?
I in sixth grade, I wrote my hero's paper on Pistol Pete Maravich. He was a big hero for my father, and that sort of fell off on me. So I've been losing my mind writing and going to direct the Pistol Pete Maravich story.
Wow.
Steve Nash of the Nets is producing with Peter Lawson and this guy, Jake Septimus, and it's a great team they built. I don't know if it'll be next because that's just how the movie world is. You wish you had more clarity moving forward, but it doesn't work that way. But that's what I've been living in 24/7. But I did hit the stop button on everything in that because to me, as you said, and I appreciate it, City of Lies, I felt was important. It was bigger than me. It was a film that I think the world needed. I think there's a failure of the institutions that we rely on, in this instance, the LAPD, to protect and serve. We rely on these institutions. And, Miss Wallace has never gotten any justice or truth in this case. I've gotten very close with her, the Poole family, who Johnny plays, Russ Poole. All of these things collectively led me to that keyword responsibility. I felt that this was an important story that needed to be told. And look, I just felt that I was honored to be in the position to share and tell it. So, I wanted to fight that good fight and never let it go.
Congratulations on getting it done. It's available to rent on Prime Video and Fandango now. It is called City of Lies. And we're happy a local guy has done a project that's cool like this.
Thank you.
Man.
No, listen, my parents drove me from Lafayette Hill, Plymouth Meeting, dropped me off at school every day for many years. I got to listen to the radio and listen to all these kinds of, it's a real honor and pleasure to be here, guys. It's super cool what you guys are doing. I miss Philadelphia very much. I'll be back soon, hopefully. And I was excited you asked to have me on the show. It really means a lot.
Well, we'll get a face-to-face sometime when all this craziness is over. Thanks,
I know.
man.
The crazy world we're in, right?
Yeah, we appreciate it. Brad Furman, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. City of Lies. And like I said, Prime Video and Fandango now. We got a break because we got to stay on time. We got the money clip coming up when we return. Bizarre File stories and more. We won't be gone long, so stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
On 93.3 WMMR. 93.3 WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Money Clips.
Wow, we have a lot.